All right, checking I-40 westbound near Hermitage Avenue. Looks like TDOT says the right lane is blocked by a crash there. TDOT says the left lane is blocked over in the Nations, Briley Parkway southbound near I-40. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, kids. Welcome in. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day. Happy to have you with us this afternoon from 3 until 7 o'clock. We hope to entertain, educate, inform, and keep you in rapt attention to what we have going on the Matt Murphy Radio program on Super Talk 99.7 WTM. I am he. My name is Matt Murphy. For the better part of this time, we'll spend some time together, and I'm glad that you've decided to join us. It is Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. It's episode 848 of our gatherings together today. We chart every single one of them on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's day at 184 of the Trump administration's 1460.5 in his second term. And there's many different platforms to listen to the show on. You can find us on Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio if you're podcasting. You can also find us on our own app, Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Obviously, we're there on the radio dial. And, of course, we're there on Talk TV for you masochists in the listening audience. If you want to join us on the television side of things, you can see me in a long-sleeve hoodie, and it's 118 degrees outside. That's right.
That's the real feel.
Day. That's right. Long-sleeve hoodie day. Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. Hello, Jackson.
Hey, buddy. May I ask why you're wearing long sleeves?
I'll tell you. I needed a pliable shirt. Today was podcast day. Oh, Ken Weaver's back in the back. I see Ken Weaver back there. Hello, Brother Weaver.
How about you, boys?
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Busy day.
Doing real good. Getting ready to get real busy with all these interviews you're going to have on your show.
Oh, we got Congressman Andy Ogles coming up.
Yes, sir.
Congressman Ogles at 4:35 today. Representative Jody Barrett, who is wanting to join Congressman Andy Ogles in Congress in the absence of Mark Green. Mark Green retiring. A lot of folks gearing up for that race, which is right around the corner. That thing's going to go jiffy quick.
Yeah. What they talking about the primary in September?
I think September or October.
September, October, then the general in November.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Or rather, the special.
Yeah, right. Primary first, and then we'll figure out who the Democrat will be, who the Republican will be. And Afton Bain tomorrow.
Excellent.
Right around 3-ish.
All right.
On the Murphy Show. So excited about having no, wait. Stand by. No, check that. Afton Bain Friday.
Friday, okay.
Not tomorrow. Friday. So a lot of guests coming up and a lot of information hopefully coming out of those conversations.
What about that long sleeve shirt you're wearing?
Okay, so today was podcast day. And on podcast day, we do this podcast called All the Best Words. And it's about a 15-minute bite. We don't ask too much of you. I invite you to go check it out on the Supertalk television side of things over on the YouTube. You can find us on Supertalk 99.7 WTN on YouTube, wherever we present podcasts, and we present them in a lot of different places. You can find the list of those podcast locations on 997WTN.com on our website. You just hook up to the website, go to the podcast tab, find All the Best Words, click All the Best Words, and it'll show you all the places you can listen. But All the Best Words, the concept, Cameron Smith and I sit down, and I bring a word, and he brings a word to the table, and we talk about those words that we bring to the table, and more often than not, they are associated with something going on in the news. For example, one of the words that you will hear over the course of the next week, tunnel.
Tunnel
Was one of my words.
That's a big word right now.
No, it's a big one. I mean, we had a big conversation about that yesterday. So to answer your question, remember the old Wheel of Fortune with Pat Sajak and Vanna White?
Yes.
When they still had the Dalmatian for sale? Remember that? When they actually would, way back. Jackson, you know Wheel of Fortune, right? You know Wheel of Fortune?
Yeah.
Okay. when Wheel of Fortune was in the 1980s, when someone won like $5,000, they'd take them shopping. Like they had these little studios set up with like a bedroom, and they would have these prizes ready to go, and they would buy prizes. Oh. I mean, back in the day, they did not just take the cash. They had to buy stuff, and they always had a Dalmatian for $75. For people that had some leftover money, you could buy the Dalmatian for $75. But anyway, those episodes of Wheel of Fortune, they taped like 5 episodes in one day. And so on the and they do that with most game shows.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So Vanna White has to bring 5 different changes of clothes. And now I guess it's Ryan Seacrest. Used to be Pat. He would have to bring 5 different suit jackets or 5 different changes of clothing in order for it to, be the illusion to hold that they're doing that every day of the week.
Right.
Well, a podcast is no different, Ken Weaver. So when we do the podcast, we record multiple podcasts in a day.
Gotcha.
And I feel like it looks weird if I'm wearing the same shirt in 3 different podcasts. So
you change your shirt every episode?
So I changed shirts. And so I needed a shirt that was comfy and stretchy enough that I could easily change it with my bum arm and not have to worry about it. And this was that shirt. Hey, but this is the first time I've been in long sleeves since the bum arm, so I was able to finagle it in there. I feel good.
How did that work?
You do. I'll show you. You want to show? So you do. You got to do. Y'all watching on TV?
Yes, sir.
You got to do. Well, this isn't here. The sling's not here. So you got to just basically do the arm first.
Yeah.
You go all arm and get it all up in the arm, and then flip it over the head without moving the arm.
Did you tweak it?
Risky business.
I tell you what, I've got a shirt in here. Y'all want me to do it?
Absolutely.
I'll take it under. I'll take it. I wasn't very enthusiastic. I mean, Weaver.
I imagine there's
y'all want me to do it?
ways.
Absolutely.
I think we all 3 ought to go shirtless.
It's hot enough.
That if we do the show outside, I think that's appropriate.
I can make that happen.
Please don't make me do the show outside.
We can do a remote outside.
Remember whenever you were in pickup basketball games and you'd have one team shirtless?
I never wanted to be the Skins, Ken.
Well, I never wanted to play the Skins because I was always the shortest one out there. And sure enough,
you'd hit them.
My face was right in somebody's belly.
Nipple level.
Something like that.
Yeah, right.
Just sweat.
Your nose just right on the nipple. That's tough.
I had to develop a hook shot because everybody could block my shot. Now, if I could do a hook shot, that was okay. And then if I was shirtless, they didn't want to get near me because not only was I sweaty, but I'm real hairy. You know what sweaty chest hair all over you? Especially whenever the heat index is 105.
There's like a little Ken Weaver Ewok running around the court.
Throw me the rock. Throw me the rock. I'm open.
Get the ball back. It's like when you throw a tennis ball to a golden retriever.
You do a little
wet.
You just do a little. You do a little side angle. Give them a little the bump, and the sweat falls on them. They back up.
That's right.
Then you take it straight to the hole.
Straight to the hole. Either that or I just hook.
Nice little hook shot.
Yeah, developed it. Well, you have to do that sort of thing whenever you're not as tall as the other players.
I figured out pretty early on that I had a distinct lack of athletic ability. Because I never got past that. So you want me to dribble the ball, but look at the people. Well, then how do I know where the ball's going?
Right. You're going to miss the ball.
I need to look at the ball while I dribble the ball.
Yeah.
But then I'm not looking at the people.
Right.
I could never overcome that conundrum.
Go ahead.
I could always dribble. I could never shoot. Had no touch.
Did you guys ever have to play real sweaty dudes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Were they short and hairy?
Yeah.
No. Last time I played. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, Jackson, what are you? You're 6 foot, right?
I'm 6'1.5".
See, Brother Jackson doesn't have to worry about it.
No,
you either, Murphy. You're like 5'10", right?
5'11", thank you very much.
See, well, I mean, you boys.
5'11", I used to call 5'11" 6 feet. Long time.
That's what I call 5'5".
I might as well be 6 feet.
Okay, so I knew this guy who would just straight up lie about his height, but he would also lie about your height. So he would say he is 6'1" when he was really about 5'9", 5'10".
Uh-huh.
But I was like 6'5". And then our other friend who's taller than me, he is like actually 6'5". He was like 6'10". This guy was a pathological liar.
We did a lot of that kind of lying, but it was more in inches. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has doubled down at a what? But that answers everybody's question about the long sleeve shirt, right?
I think
Did we cover the long sleeve shirt?
Yes, sir.
We got shirts and skins, sweaty Ken Weaver, giving the old. That's what they would do. They come in. You come into the paint and you give them the old booty bump.
That's right. Yeah, or the elbow.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what they got to deal with. You got to get in there. That's your paint.
Yeah.
All right, we covered all of that. Let's delve into the real news. So, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has doubled it down at a White House press conference briefing. It wasn't a conference. I should note it. It was a briefing, alleging the Obama administration promoted a contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election and colluded with Donald J. Trump. There's no question that Russia is a foreign actor, a bad actor, and wanted to sow the seeds of discord in our election processes. That did not start in 2016. It did not end in 2016, and it's not exclusive to Russia. Anyone thinking that this is about Russia trying to interfere in our election process, you're not thinking of this in the proper way. The question is, how much did the Obama team know? When did they know it? And how much were they willing to use that they knew was false in a way that they knew would endanger the Trump presidency and circumvent and overrule the will of the American people? We are going to discuss this at length. This is a big story. It is much bigger of a story than Jeffrey Epstein. And I don't diminish or dismiss the importance of getting to the bottom of Jeffrey Epstein. Most major media in the United States of America will not talk about anything other than Epstein because they believe now that it has become a liability for Donald Trump. And because of that, after 4 years of silence during the Biden administration, after 5 months of silence during the Trump administration, finally the mainstream media has decided that this is the most important story that they're ever going to cover because obviously it might look bad for Donald Trump in their estimation. Remember, this is the same media, the hashtag #NeverCNN group, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, Washington Post, New York Times, and all of the rest. These are the same media elites, leftists all, that insisted to you for 2+ years that Russian collusion was a real story. And not once have they apologized for it. Not once has any of these people stood before America on camera and said, I'm sorry, we were wrong. Well, guess what? They were. And now they've decided that the Epstein deal is the biggest story to run with. According to the Wall Street Journal, speaking of the Epstein deal, apparently, we know this, right? They're acting like this is new news. They ran with this story yesterday about Donald Trump being seen in a photograph with Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein ran in all of these circles. He hobnobbed with the Bill Clintons of the world. He hobnobbed with the Donald Trumps of the world until Donald Trump had enough of him. I think that was in 2007 or 2008 when Donald Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. That said, they thought that we would buy that this was a big story, that there were photographs found of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump from back in 1999, and it's a non-story. It is similarly a non-story to me that Donald Trump's name appears in the Epstein files. We already knew that. Donald Trump's name appeared in the publicly available Epstein files. Remember that phase 1 crap that was just all a rehash of some of the information that was made public during the Ghislaine Maxwell deal? Well, all of that was public then, and it became public last February when they did the big dog and pony show at the White House, and they came out with the binders and the hats and all of that. Well, Donald Trump's in the air flight logs. So we know that his name, Donald Trump, had an association with Jeffrey Epstein. A hell of a lot of people, rich and powerful people, had associations with Jeffrey Epstein. Not all of those people had a criminal association with Jeffrey Epstein. Not all of those people had an association with Epstein that would implicate them in any sort of way with regard to the criminal activity that he was engaged in. That's the question, that who knew and who was involved. Well, the mainstream media doesn't want to take you any further than Donald Trump's name appeared. We already knew that. So don't let them fool you. That is not new news. What is? A federal judge in Florida denied a request from the Trump administration to release grand jury transcripts from the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. We're going to carry these two stories forward right now on The Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Would love to hear from you. You can hit us up on the phone lines. Absolutely my most favorite thing to do every single day, talk to you on the telephone, 615-737-9986. On this Wednesday edition, you can also find us on the Super Text line, same number, 615-737-9986. You can find me on the X machine at Matt Murphy Show. It's The Murphy Show on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Men of Valor. Men of Valor is a ministry that is primarily funded by individuals like you, families, and church organizations. Your support allows Men of Valor to go into the prison system in the state of Tennessee and win men over to Jesus Christ. Disciple them so that they can re-enter society as men of integrity, as men of valor. In 2024 alone, they ministered to well over 3,000 men. Now, let me give you a couple of statistics. Number one, over 90% of the men who go into prison are going to get out at some point or another. That's just the way that it works. And the question then becomes, what type of men do you want coming out of the system? Do you want men that are takers or men that are givers? Men that go back to a life of crime or men who become productive members of our society? I think we know the answer to this, and the way forward is with Men of Valor. They maintain such close relationships through graduation with their men. The recidivism rate goes down to under 15%. It's all about developing those quality men to be productive members of society. Don't forget about October 1st. Save that date. Second annual Men of Valor Gala happening in Franklin at the factory this time around. Tim Tebow and Demi Lee Tebow will be there. Go to movministry.com for more information. That's movministry.com. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Cover Nash. Guys, let me talk to you. Guys and gals, I should say. Let me talk to you for a second. Are you tired of health insurance that feels like a math test? I mean, so much of it does, right? Confusing percentages, surprise bills, fine print that you can barely read, that bites you back if you don't read it. Let's make it simple. Shane Ring at Cover Nash, he's got you covered. They have a new nationwide PPO plan that gives you the freedom to choose your doctor anywhere in the United States of America without any of the headaches, with only a $250 deductible. And I know I had to ask several times for Shane to explain this to me, because I'm a simpleton from Georgia and I don't get it. $250 deductible, that is. Flat copays after the deductible, just $50 for a doctor visit. Outpatient surgeries with just a $250 copay. Nationwide PPO coverage, no hidden fees or back-end bills. It is possible. Call Cover Nash and find out how. 615-465-0023. 615-465-0023 or covernash.com. Health insurance with an expert local to our community and made so easy. It's the one and only Cover Nash.
Jeffrey Epstein, convicted sex trafficking co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, won't be getting out of jail, but she will be speaking to members of Congress. This story and more coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I am going to play the better part of the 10-minute press briefing that Tulsi Gabbard offered earlier today from the White House, because I believe that this is the most important story on the docket today. I understand that we can walk and juggle at the same time. We juggle any number of stories. I mean, Ken Weaver does it all the time in the newsroom. We try to do it from the studio side, too, where we try to keep up with any number of breaking news stories. While the mainstream media pretends that this story does not exist, it is getting more and more explosive as the Director of National Intelligence chooses to dig deeper and deeper to figure out exactly what Barack Obama knew, when did he know it, and what constitutes treason in the United States of America. Because I would suggest to you, the Constitution is quite clear on what treason is. We read it yesterday for you. Jackson read it for you yesterday. Article 3, Section 3 clearly defines what it is. Well, I would ask you this question. If you discovered that the President of the United States of America or any agency of the government of the United States of America was utilizing a foreign enemy of this country for the purposes of subverting the will of the American voter and impeaching a president duly elected by the American voter, is that treason? Is it or is it not? Well, you have to prove it. But if you prove it, you are hard-pressed to tell me exactly how it isn't treason, because it involves an enemy of the state, an enemy actor. It involves the knowing presence of officials within the American government, and it involves an action that they take utilizing information from an enemy of this country, in this case Russia, for the purposes of bringing down a duly elected president. Now, what the linchpin in all of this is proving that it was their purpose to bring him down. But Tulsi Gabbard provided some information today that is absolutely explosive. We will cover it as we continue on the Murphy Show on Super Talk. It's time for news. It's 3:30. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and it's getting hot out there, folks. Right now, the real temperature over at the airport reading 95 degrees. National Weather Service says the heat index is 105. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer has issued a subpoena to Ghislaine Maxwell for a deposition related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. Maxwell, who's currently serving a 20-year prison sentence in Florida for her role in the sex trafficking ring, scheduled to be deposed on August 11th at the Federal Correctional Institution in Tallahassee. Right now in Nashville, a U.S. judge ordering Kilmar Abrego Garcia be released on bail while waiting for trial on human smuggling charges stemming from that 2022 traffic stop on I-40 in Tennessee. President Obama appointee U.S. District Judge Waverly Crenshaw upheld a previous ruling that prosecutors failed to show Abrego was a public safety risk or a flight risk. Another Obama-appointed federal judge in Maryland then issued an order blocking the government from taking Garcia into immigration custody in Tennessee. Meanwhile, Magistrate Judge Barbara Holmes in Nashville ordered Abrego's release from federal custody paused for 30 days or until further court order to allow the government an opportunity to appeal and Abrego's legal team a chance to seek further relief. And Brian Kohberger will spend the rest of his life in prison, sentenced to 4 consecutive life terms without parole for the murders of University of Idaho students Kaylee Gonclaves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Olivia Gonclaves, the sister of Kaylee, had sharp words for the killer.
The scariest part about you is how painfully average you turned out to be. The truth is, you're as dumb as they come. Stupid, clumsy, slow, sloppy, weak, dirty.
This sentence resulted from a plea deal in which Kohberger admitted guilt and avoided a potential death sentence. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, aside from the usual brake tapping this time of day, we've got a crash to contend with. It is 40 westbound near Hermitage Avenue. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The Wellness Institute of Nashville is my go-to shop for all things back pain. I had upper back pain years ago. It got solved. I have lower back pain that's more of a long-term issue. That compression between my discs, I get it decompressed with spinal decompression at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and absolutely love it. Painisbad.com is the website. I invite you to go over there and check them out. More importantly, call and schedule an appointment today because Dr. Mitch, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the team, they want to see you. So much so, they're offering you the Big Daddy Trump special. $12 for a comprehensive examination, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and a first treatment. They do this at this price point. I mean, obviously, it costs more than that for them to do this. But they're doing it for you because they want to introduce you to the Wellness Institute of Nashville so you can see some of the modern techniques that they have to prevent pain on your body without surgery, without spinal injections, and without painkillers. Friends, I implore you, if you are hurting in your shoulders, in your knees, in your hips, in your joints, get to the Wellness Institute of Nashville today. Painisbad.com or 615-246-5009, 246-5009 for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You know, I like our new mic setup. It helps direct me more toward the camera. You need to help me with that, Jackson.
Look at the camera.
If I'm looking off this way, I think it looks bad on camera, don't you? I'm talking to this guy over here.
You're talking to your shirt.
I mean, why am I talking to my shirt over there? Can you see the shirt on camera?
Yes.
What?
You can see the left half of it.
Huh. That's a nice-looking shirt. Made in Vietnam, not China. I try to keep away from the Chinese products.
Well, except the shoulders.
Yeah, I do what I can. I'm told that it's either China or Indiana. I'm getting to the bottom of it, though.
Indiana?
That's what I was told. Apparently a lot of parts that are made in the United States of America. Who told me that? There was a super texter told me that, Ken, that my shoulder might have been made like in South Bend.
South Bend, Indiana.
Well, that makes sense.
So Notre Dame.
Or the home of Larry Bird. Maybe Matt should take a three-pointer whenever his shoulder's healed, and we'll know the answer.
Maybe so. I mean, it's either the Birdman, the Catholics, or the Red Chinese so far.
A, B, or C.
Now, somebody hit me up if you're listening. I forget who it was on the super text line. He said that he was he sold body parts and products like that. Not like body parts, but parts for the body. And that he knew where they were from. And there was one like in New Jersey, like Hackensack or something. And then another one in South Bend. And then there was another company in America. He did not think that my body part came from the Red Chinese. But, who knows? Who knows? We'll see. If it starts working against me, I'll let you know. Okay, so Tulsi Gabbard. I want to play a game of stop-start on this. And we do this from time to time where I have a lengthy cut that I think we need to hear. And I will be unable to get through it without stopping it to comment on it. I try to stop it as little as possible, but I think this is so important. Now, let me ask you this. For those that are downplaying the importance of what we are discovering, number one, just because this happened 8 years ago makes it no less important. Number two, it is confirming what many of us have believed to be true for some time now, but we did not have the receipts, and we're beginning to get the receipts. Now, let me pose it to you this way and sincerely ask yourself the question. What would the mainstream media, ABC, CBS, NBC, hashtag never CNN, MSNBC, and the rest, what would the political left do if I told you that Donald Trump directed the head of the FBI, his director of national intelligence, and the head of the CIA to formulate a report based on a dossier that we knew was false to make it look as if Joe Biden was colluding with the Ukrainians to not only benefit the Ukrainians, but to benefit his own family, Hunter, the rest of the Biden cabal, and by extension, make Donald Trump look bad. So the government, the apparatus of intelligence gathering of the federal government was being used to use information, faulty information from a foreign national government to hurt another politician in this country, a political adversary. You think the media would pick up on that if Donald Trump did that? Oh, my God. They tried to impeach him because he had a telephone call with Ukraine. Because what I'm telling you is not far from the truth, except Donald Trump didn't make anything up. Donald Trump had a telephone call with Ukraine and said, hey, by the way, if Joe Biden did anything crazy, we want to know about it. If Joe Biden did anything illegal, we want to know about it. And because Donald Trump said that, they went after Trump. They didn't go after Joe Biden. Hunter Biden was making $50,000 a month on the board of Burisma. Joe Biden bragged about strong-arming the Ukrainians, making them fire a prosecutor that was about to go after Burisma, a company that his son worked on the board. Y'all following the dots? Joe Biden used the apparatus of the state in order to benefit his son personally. And Donald Trump questioned it when he was president of the United States of America. And instead of the media saying, maybe we should look into that and see if Joe did anything illegal, they went after Trump. Well, now we have a situation, and there are some, I suppose, in our world, in our orbit, and I don't know. I stay away from most of the other talking heads that perhaps are downplaying this or saying, Murphy, you're getting your feathers all in a tizzy for no reason. Really? Don't y'all want to know? Even if nothing happens, do I think Barack Obama is going to get arrested? Probably not. James Clapper might get arrested. John Brennan might get arrested. And for nothing else, for perjury. The Director of National Intelligence has detailed new information regarding the 2016 election. Tulsi Gabbard is providing the receipts. She stood before the assembled press in the White House today and said this.
I'm going to go over the key findings from the House Intelligence Report, which investigated the claims that were made by an intelligence community assessment ordered by President Obama and published in January of 2017. First, Putin's principal interests relating to the 2016 election were to undermine faith in the U.S. democratic process, not show any preference of a certain candidate. In fact, this report shows Putin held back from leaking compromising material on Hillary Clinton prior to the election, instead planning to release it after the election to weaken what Moscow viewed as an inevitable Clinton presidency. In the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered, John Brennan, who was CIA director at the time, and the intelligence community intentionally suppressed intelligence that showed Putin was saving the most damaging material that he had in his possession about Hillary Clinton until after her potential and likely victory.
All right, so y'all following her so far? Vladimir Putin and Russia, they were engaging in shenanigans. We all know that. That's not the point. Most in mainstream media circles now want to say, well, of course they were. You're saying they weren't? Ha, ha, ha. Of course. No, nobody's saying they weren't. What the Obama team and what the liberal Democrats and their sycophants in the mainstream media have tried to suggest is that it was all to the benefit of Donald Trump. It was not to the benefit of Donald Trump. They just wanted to sow the seeds of discord in our election processes, and they managed to do so. And as Tulsi Gabbard just noted, they held back on the worst of the worst because Russia thought she was going to win. They held back on the Hillary Clinton stuff because they thought, well, this will be a lot worse if and when she becomes president of the United States.
The report goes into great detail about the information that Russia and Putin had on Hillary Clinton, which included possible criminal acts like secret meetings with multiple named U.S. religious organizations in which State Department officials offered, in exchange for supporting Secretary Clinton's campaign for the presidency, significant increases in financing from the State Department. They also had documents that showed the patronage of the State Department to State Department employees who would go and support Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers.
Heavy tranquilizers. Once again, I don't want to belabor it. I don't want to bore all of you in the back, but just for those of you in Aniana that aren't picking up on this, if the Biden administration released an intelligence dossier that included Donald Trump being on tranquilizers, do y'all think that CNN might cover that? Do you think that CBS Nightly News might cover that? You think that might be something that 60 Minutes is interested in? Donald Trump's on tranquilizers? I point this out because the media has become an enemy of good journalism. Everything they do is first and foremost determined by what narrative they're attempting to accomplish. And if you do that, you cannot succeed in fair-minded and objective journalism. You cannot be intellectually honest with your audience if you ignore major pieces of this information. Right now, they're trying to suggest that all of this is designed to pivot away from Epstein. Nobody's trying to pivot away from Epstein. This story is bigger than Epstein. This story is about a president, a director of national intelligence, the head of the CIA, the head of the FBI, in concert with one another to correct what they considered to be an error in our system. More from Tulsi Gabbard.
Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump. Brennan and the IC misled lawmakers by referencing the debunked Steele dossier to assess quote-unquote Russia's plans and intentions, falsely suggesting that this dossier had intelligence value when he knew that it was discredited. The intelligence community excluded significant intelligence and ignored or selectively quoted reliable intelligence that contradicted the intelligence community assessment's key findings on Putin's alleged support for Trump. Including this intelligence reporting would have exposed the ICA's claim as implausible, if not ridiculous. The intelligence community assessment omitted reliably sourced information, such as how some Russian intelligence officials were quote-unquote planning for candidate Hillary Clinton's victory, while others assessed neither Trump nor Clinton would respect Russia's interests. As was reflected in the ODNI documents that we released on Friday, multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election.
So they obviously wanted to engage in sowing the seeds of doubt, but they had no ability to impact or affect the outcome, as just said by Tulsi Gabbard, and they did not affect either, despite what we were told in early 2017, that Russian collusion impacted the outcome of the election over and over and over again. More coming up on this in just a moment. I am told, Mr. Ken Weaver, and I know you've got traffic on your mind as well as news, that 24 eastbound mile marker. Does 24 go eastbound? I guess that's true.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. 24 eastbound mile marker 30 traffic. Both lanes tap and go. Something going on. And then that same person, 9901, an intrepid traffic reporter on the roadways of these metro streets, says that both lanes are now stopped. On 24 eastbound mile marker 30, we're on top of that. We'll take a look and we'll check it out and we'll let you know 51 after the hour on Super Talk. If you own land and you're looking for something to do with it that will improve the value of that property, might I recommend an incredible structure from Stoultz Co. They are the premier and one-stop shop for all things post-frame buildings in Middle Tennessee and beyond. They do pole barns, garage spaces, equestrian spaces, event spaces, and yes, of course, barn dominiums. Barn dominiums are becoming increasingly popular because they are such great structures and they cost less per square foot than your traditional home build. And at Stoultz Co., it can be turnkey for you, right? So you can be involved in every single aspect of your home build. If you want to be kind of the go-to person with decision-making abilities every step of the way, you can do that. Or you can just do turnkey, where Stoultz Co. will sit you down. They'll find out what your dreams and aspirations are for the structure that you're looking to build. And before you know it, it's ready to go, and they'll give you the keys, and you're ready to go as well. So whether it's a pole barn, a garage space, or a barn dominium, if you want someplace to hang out on the weekends, if you need someplace to put the in-laws, I mean, I understand that happens from time to time, or a future home for you and your family. Let's go with Stoultz Co. STOLTZCO.com. Did I spell that right? I did. STOLTZCO.com, or call 615-622-5992 for Stoultz Co.
One of the largest cities here in Middle Tennessee will be getting 2 new hospitals, but it's not coming without pushback. We'll tell you about it coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you much, Ken Weaver. You know, Bob is getting to the bottom of it here as we play you excerpts from Tulsi Gabbard's incredible press briefing earlier today. Bob says, Matt, assuming that Obama is guilty of the things Tulsi Gabbard is saying, would you call it treason or sedition? Just curious. I think you would be hard-pressed to get a jury to convict on treason because you would have to find a direct connection between Obama and the Russians. You would probably be more successful in looking towards sedition, which does not require a direct connection. What it requires is a level of dishonesty and a sowing the seeds of revolt against a lawful person in power, a lawful president, for example. You are actively sowing. Sedition is more of an inside game. Treason is more of an outside game. And I think you would be, we're using the term treason a lot. I think what most people mean when they use the term is actually sedition. So we'll continue the breakdown for you in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Don't forget, next hour, Congressman Andy Ogles will join us. 5847, quick question for Matt. Did you have reverse shoulder surgery? Just curious, I had rotator cuff May of 2024. Now they tell me that it's undone, and they tell me that I need to have reverse shoulder surgery. Just wondered. No, I had traditional shoulder surgery. They replaced the ball of my shoulder and they replaced the socket. The ball has been replaced with titanium, the socket with plastic. They considered the reverse surgery, but my socket was strong enough that they believed that they could adhere the plastic to the socket. The reason they do the reverse if your socket is too fragile and they have to replace that. So they say that often happens with older folks. I wish you well. God bless you. It's a difficult path forward, but I tell you, it's positive pain, not negative pain, and that's a good thing. It's 4 o'clock. It's time for the news. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The Matt Murphy Show continues. Stand by for news.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Want to get to a super texter who was telling us about a slowdown eastbound 24 there just before you get to Jolton. I have not seen a report as to what it was, but it looks like it is getting better. From my maps, it was jet black indicating complete stop. Now it's just kind of a light orange, so it looks like things are moving again there on 24 eastbound right before you get to Jolton. We got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Clarksville will be getting 2 new hospitals. But Channel 4's Brendan Tierney says it didn't come without pushback from the only hospital operating there for right now.
Tenova Healthcare runs the only hospital in Clarksville right now and opposed the new facility, saying they can handle the patients.
It makes absolutely no sense to take what is a highly utilized, vital resource for the community that is very popular and then put a new hospital and a new ED right next door to it. That does not help geographic dispersion of services. It does not help any type of health planning.
These 2 new hospitals represent a more than $430 million investment in the Clarksville community. But hospital leaders say it'll be at least 3 years until the first patients are treated.
Yeah, so both hospitals will have emergency rooms and services like inpatient surgery, cardiology, women's health, and more. The approvals granted following a hearing today by the Tennessee Health Facilities Commission. Jeffrey Epstein case update. Sex trafficking co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell will be deposed by Congress on August 11th at the federal prison she's serving time in Tallahassee. But Epstein's grand jury transcripts will not be released, according to U.S. District Judge Robin L. Rosenberg in Florida, who says she can't legally do it under the guidelines governing grand jury secrecy set by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit. And right now in the Kilmar-Abrego Garcia case, 3 judges issued rulings today, seemingly paving the way for the accused human smuggler to be released on bail while he awaits trial. U.S. District Judge Waverly Crenshaw in Nashville ordering bail, upholding a previous ruling that prosecutors failed to show Abrego was a public safety risk or a flight risk. Then another federal judge in Maryland issued an order blocking the government from taking Garcia into immigration custody here in Tennessee. Then back here in Nashville, Magistrate Judge Barbara Holmes ordered Abrego's release from federal custody paused for 30 days, or until further court order, to allow the government the opportunity to appeal and Abrego Garcia's legal team a chance to seek further relief. And right now in Idaho.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. A judge in Boise sentencing Brian Kohberger to 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole for the stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. It followed victim impact statements from families and survivors, Kohberger declining to address the court. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer says the judge also imposed fines and restitution against Kohberger, and there are other laws in place to keep him from profiting.
About 40 states and the federal government have some version of the Son of Sam law where an individual cannot profit off of their criminal story. You cannot sell it to the movies or make a book about it or a docuseries of that effect. Now, Idaho is one of the minority states that does not have a codified Son of Sam law. However, their constitution, the same constitution that gives the victims the right to be able to have fairness and dignity and privacy as well as be heard in these proceedings, also has a component of it that applies to restitution.
This is ABC News.
And the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Got a crash over in the Nations. It's blocking the left lane, Briley Parkway southbound, right there near I-40. And then over here closer to downtown, we've got a crash reported by TDOT, 40 westbound near Hermitage Avenue. And in Clarksville now, Highway Patrol reporting a crash, 24 westbound just past Wilma Rudolph. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We begin hour number 2. Thank you for being out there. 8 minutes past 4 o'clock. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly appreciative of your time. There's nastiness on the roadways. We'll keep you up to date with that. The temperature is up in the 90s, and some would suggest to you that it feels hotter than that because of the humidity. I'm not one of those people. We've got Jackson behind the glass complaining about his back hurting. How you doing? You holding up?
I'm fine. Just slept on the couch last night, and it just bothered me a little bit today.
The folks still out of town?
Yep, just fell asleep on the couch, hanging out with the dog, watching a little TV. Rewatched the roast of Tom Brady last night.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you haven't?
Mm-mm.
It's great. It's on Netflix.
So speaking of watching something, for the third day in a row, I've written on my big list of topics to cover, Superman review.
Oh, finally!
I failed the audience 2 days in a row.
You failed me. I need a recommendation whether to see this movie.
I recommend it. I recommend it 100%.
Is there a bunch of fighting?
There's a bunch of fighting.
Yes, that's what I like.
I'm not into. I'm not net. I mean, you know the one. I don't want to give it. See, I have trouble not giving anything away. But yes, there's a lot of fighting. Superman. I mean, the first scene, Superman's getting his butt whooped.
Recap the ending fight.
No.
You almost started.
No, I started to do that. I'm not doing that. No.
Here's my question. How do you survive a punch from Superman?
Well, I mean, you got to be something of a super.
You got to be a super villain.
Power in and of yourself. I mean, so yeah. I mean, Luther has. What was he called? Ultraman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Superman's fighting Ultraman in this one.
What if Superman misses and hits a civilian?
That civilian would explode.
Well, and that's manslaughter.
That's Superman 2. Superman goes to court for manslaughter.
Or as what's his name? Liam Neeson. Have you seen the promotion for the new Naked Gun?
Yeah, I cannot wait for that one.
Yes, it's produced by some old SNL cast members. Like you remember Andy Samberg?
Oh yeah,
he's a part of that. His group, The Lonely Island, was a big part of that.
Yeah, they're bringing back. I mean, I think he is. What was his name? Drebin, Frank.
But he's going to be like, I think Frank Drebin's son or something like that.
Right. Leslie Nielsen did it, and Leslie Nielsen back in the day said, because they said, man, you made a turn, boy. You were in these serious shows, and then you went to comedy, and you did Airplane, and you did Naked. He said, I didn't do anything differently. I played it exactly the same.
Yes.
It was just the lines out. And so now you've got Liam Neeson, Mr. Serious, Mr. Badass,
right,
playing Drebin,
Frank Drebin,
and there's a trailer out that he says, I see here you have been convicted of man's laughter. Or something like that. He says it. He's like, you've been charged with man's laughter. That must have been one hell of a joke.
That movie's going to be good. I'm also excited for Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Looks really good. I love that 1960s futuristic art style. I really like what they went with.
Got a Jetsons vibe going on. Jetsons vibe going on that I can dig. So I'll give you the Superman review today. Don't let me forget to give the Superman review today.
I'll yell at you.
Yeah, just give me holler at me. I hope your back's doing better. Are the folks gone? Here's the real reason. I really don't care about your back. Are the folks gone for the weekend?
They get back Friday.
That's no good. How are Ken and I supposed to descend on the Williams compound and wreck it if we don't have the weekend to do that? Come on, man.
I don't know. How much are you wrecking with that bum shoulder?
Oh, I can do some wrecking. Look, I mean, I'm not double fisting, but I can do some damage single fisting.
We got to work on your phrasing, buddy. That's getting clipped.
Watch your phraseology. Where's that from? $100 if you know where that's from. That would be the Music Man. And that starts with T and that rhymes with P and that stands for pool.
What does it stand for?
Jason says stop. Stands for pool. Stop ruining the movie. I'm not ruining the movie for anybody. I'm not giving any spoilers away. I've not even begun to spoil the movie.
Yeah, we haven't talkਟ about any specifics.
No. It's
vulgarity.
Y'all know that it's about a dude that has a cape and he flies around, right? Y'all know that? Is that spoiling it for everybody?
I thought it was a bird or a plane.
Lex Luthor's mean in this one, boy. Mean.
Oh, yeah? He's bald, too, right?
Oh, yeah. Bald and mean.
Yeah.
So we brought up Indiana last hour. I just want to clean this up. Where maybe my shoulder was made. And we mentioned that Larry Bird's from Indiana, and there's South Bend where the Catholics are. Notre Dame's from Indiana. And one of our listeners, 5513, said, don't forget Mayor Pete Buttigieg, but he spelled it. Don't forget Mayor Pete Butt Judge. Butt Judge.
Goodness.
It's a Buttigieg. Buttigieg. It's easy to do. 3879, what happened to the very important Tulsi Gabbard talk? Settle in, okay? Y'all calm down. We're just getting the second hour started. My goodness gracious. I still got it on my screen.
We're easing in.
And, we're easing back into it. And sadly, I've lost my place. Here we go. We're about 3 minutes into it. So Tulsi Gabbard reporting on the findings of the Department of National Intelligence and offering those reports earlier today. We're playing some of these, the more important points for you in advance of our conversation with Congressman Andy Ogles. And later on, we'll talk to Representative Jody Barrett. Here's Tulsi Gabbard from earlier today. Exposing exactly what went down in the aftermath of the election cycle in 2016, leading to the inauguration of President Donald J. Trump in 2017.
The ICA's claim as implausible, if not ridiculous. The intelligence community assessment omitted reliably sourced information, such as how some Russian intelligence officials were, quote-unquote, planning for candidate Hillary Clinton's victory, while others assessed neither Trump nor Clinton would respect Russia's interests. As was reflected in the ODNI documents that we released on Friday, multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election. On December 5th of 2016, the FBI and ODNI gave the House Intelligence Committee its first post-election classified briefing, in which there was no mention of Putin aspiring to elect Trump by either agency. The Presidential Daily Brief, drafted on December 8th of 2016, stated that no Russian or criminal actors impacted vote counts. This document was pulled just hours before it was to be published due to, quote-unquote, new guidance. If it had been published, it would have been briefed to both President Obama and President-elect Donald Trump. On December 9th, 2016, a National Security Council meeting was called to gather President Obama's senior national security officials, which included CIA Director Brennan, then Obama DNI James Clapper, Susan Rice, and others. Following that secret meeting, DNI Clapper's assistant sent an email to the intelligence community with the subject line, POTUS tasking on Russia election meddling, tasking ODNI leaders to create a new assessment per the president's request.
Y'all are following this, right? Post-election, they did not like what the intelligence told them. The intelligence said, yeah, Russia did some meddling, but it really wasn't candidate-specific. They had bad intel on Hillary, had some intel on Trump. They knew the Steele dossier was garbage. That's key. They knew the dossier was garbage, yet still, after a secret meeting with Brennan and Rice and Clapper, they moved forward with a new intelligence report. Why?
The House Intelligence Committee Oversight Report that we released today reveals that, quote, unlike routine intelligence community analysis, the intelligence community assessment was a high-profile product ordered by the President, President Obama. It directed senior intelligence community agency heads and created an intelligence community assessment limited to just 5 analysts using one principal drafter. This is not something that occurs in the normal path of producing an intelligence community assessment that reflects the views across the intelligence community. The production of this intelligence community assessment was subject to unusual directives directly from the president and senior political appointees, especially the former director of the CIA, John Brennan. The House Intelligence Committee Oversight Report also shows how later that same day, on December 9th, Brennan ordered the publication of quote-unquote substandard reporting on Russian activities, which had previously been withheld from publication of prior assessments because the information was judged, quote, to have not met long-standing publication standards. Some of the information later used in the Obama-ordered assessment over the objections of veteran CIA officers was, quote-unquote, unclear or from unknown sources. The Intelligence Committee's oversight report reveals that CIA Director Brennan overruled senior CIA officers who challenged the Obama-ordered intelligence assessment, stating, quote, we don't have direct information that Putin wanted to get Trump elected.
You hearing this? So just to make sure that those of you in the back understand it, the intelligence gathered did not indicate that Vladimir Putin was specifically attempting to help Donald Trump. Obama said, go back and look again. Brennan and Clapper went back and directed their people to figure it out. The people pushed back, said, no, the intelligence doesn't lead us here. You're asking us to do something that the information does not suggest we ought to do. We have to go where the intelligence leads us. We have to go where the factual information leads us, and it does not lead us down this road. There was no collusion. There was no connection. Didn't matter.
Yet, the Obama-directed assessment was published on January 6, 2017, which explicitly stated, quote, we assess Putin and the Russian government aspired to help President-elect Trump's election chances.
They made it up. Now, is this not supposed to bother us? Are we supposed to, well, there's nothing here? Because I hear two lines of thought on this, and I know that I'm stuck on it. Our good buddy Mark Levin. Mark Levin, by the way, needs an award. Mark Levin was on top of this in March of 2017. The great one had this down in March of 2017. Now, we've been on top of this story and believed this story for a long time. But now we're getting the receipts. Are we supposed to not care? I hear some, even conservatives, say, it doesn't matter. What does it matter? What do you mean, what does it matter? The President of the United States of America directed his senior intelligence officials to go doctor a report so that it involves the newly elected President of the United States of America. And then, as we'll see later, intentionally disseminated that report throughout the intelligence community and intentionally leaked it to an anti-Trump media. All of this led to impeachment. They almost were successful in their purpose. Tell me that their purpose, why would they do this if not for the purpose of undermining the presidency of the United States of America, undermining the newly elected president, and potentially having him removed in what can be classified as nothing less than a soft coup? Someone tell me I'm wrong. This should disturb everyone. The heart of our intelligence gathering is that it is done in a non-biased format. But it hasn't been. And we've known that. And now we have the evidence that will allow us to proceed forward with criminal prosecution and potential charges of sedition. I mean, your effort to undermine the presidency of the United States of America, to foment civil unrest to the point that you convince elected officials to push the idea of a special prosecution that could potentially lead to the impeachment of a president of the United States, all based on made-up information. Now, for 1726, you are welcome. The phone lines are always open for you, 1726. I'm happy to talk about Epstein. I've been on record as expressing my frustration with this current administration that they misplayed and mishandled the transparency that we expect out of an open government like the United States of America's. So I am here to talk about Epstein. I've talked about Epstein, and you're not talking about the Epstein hoax. I don't know where you're coming from with that, but I'm willing to talk about it, and I'm willing to I'm willing to further the conversation with this new information to further it. I'm here for all of it, man. We got 4 hours. We can talk Epstein, we can talk Obama, we can talk DOJ, we can talk Superman, we can talk tunnels, we can talk all of that. We got the time. And I got the phone line. 615-737-9986 on Super Talk. Hello, folks. Matt Murphy for the Glock store. Y'all know where the Glock store is. You know it's my number one to a superstore, and I absolutely love it. Wherever you're coming from, if you're within the sound of my voice, you need to get to the Glock store. It is well worth the drive. They've got the biggest selection of Glock handguns in the country. Hey, Murphy, isn't there a store out in California? No. Isn't there a store over there in India? Nope. What about down there in Florida? No. Nowhere else in the country do they have the selection of Glocks like we have right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that? Man, every Glock in stock, every model, every version, and the customization, it's endless. I mean, the fact that you can walk in and customize a Glock for yourself at your own direction and design is pretty fascinating, too. Secondly, they got a gunsmith in the store on duty when they're open. I mean, a certified gunsmith. So if you, for example, get a performance part, pyramid trigger, whatever it might be, you want it installed, they'll install it for free while you wait. That's just one of the reasons that I absolutely love the Glock store. The Glock store is minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Go see them. Air Lane Drive just off of Elm Hill Pike. Elm Hill Pike is just off of Briley Parkway, and you can get to Briley Parkway from anywhere. It's the one and only Glock store.
One of Middle Tennessee's largest cities getting 2 new hospitals, and 3 judges issued orders today pertaining to the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We'll tell you about them coming up at 4:30 in Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. I love the super text line. One of the reasons I love the phones more than the super text line, and I love the super text line, I love every available form of communication we have via the telephone, via the super text. You can still email me. Hell, if you want to snail mail me, I mean, come on. Bring it on. Write a letter.
Get a pencil, write a letter.
Yeah, 10 Music Circle East. We got the don't we still have the wall of crazy over there? We used to. I think we threw all that away.
Yeah,
we used to have the wall of crazy where the crazy letters would come in.
There's a lot of stuff.
It's gone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We probably threw
Cryptic messages.
Mm-hmm. There's one person in particular that would write on an envelope and would not put anything inside the envelope. Like the envelope was the message.
Yeah.
And that would write on the front of the envelope, "This is a postcard," so that I guess they could spend less in postage. I don't know. But one way or the other, snail mail us. You can hit me up on the X Machine at Matt Murphy Show if you're not following me. You think I'm rough here. I mean, you should follow me on after I've had a couple on the old X Machine. Ken Weaver does.
It's pretty entertaining.
And Ken gets mad at me because Ken talks about the foosball. And I'm like, the Sooners are going to be good. And then he gets mad at me for saying the Sooners are going to be good.
You're digging at me.
I'm not.
I know you're digging at me.
I am not.
You know what? I don't like all that. You're digging at me.
I am not. I think the Sooners are going to be better.
No. I don't. We got to get the kickoff, man. I'm telling you right now.
I know. I love everybody talking about how bad Gunnar Stockton is going to be.
Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, Georgia's just going to be terrible.
We're just going to be awful. We're going to be 5th in the SEC, boys. 5th in the SEC.
Tennessee's going to be number 1.
I don't know. Not if Boo Carter doesn't come back. Boo Carter.
I could spend the whole show talking about Boo Carter.
We're going to have some fun.
Don't get me started, boys.
All right, so we have wasted too much time, so I can't go to Ed or George or Troy on the phones, and I'm sorry for that. We started talking about the foosball. My bad.
Bobby Boucher.
We'll finish up with Tulsi Gabbard. We'll talk with Congressman Andy Ogles in just a few, and all of you on the phones, hang in there as we continue. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We're looking at a heat index today, a possible heat index of up to 108 degrees. Right now, the National Weather Service says it's only at 103 degrees with the real temperature 95. Full forecast, another traffic update in 5 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, Clarksville getting 2 new hospitals. Tennessee Health Facilities Commission approved applications from St. Thomas and TriStar during a hearing today. Both hospitals going to have emergency rooms, inpatient surgery, cardiology, women's health, and more. But officials say they won't be up and running for at least 3 years. Kilmar Abrego Garcia update. 3 judges issued orders today, seemingly paving the way for his release on bond while awaiting trial on human smuggling charges. Abrego Garcia ordered to be released from jail in Tennessee, placed under Immigration and Customs Enforcement supervision in Baltimore, Maryland. But a magistrate judge here in Nashville ordered a 30-day pause to give time for the Justice Department to appeal. And the only person to be convicted in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring has been subpoenaed to give testimony to House investigators. Will she do it?
The House Oversight Chair says the deposition would take place next month at the federal prison in Tallahassee, where Ghislaine Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence. Earlier, House Speaker Mike Johnson expressed his support for the subpoena, but he also raised questions about the value of Maxwell's testimony.
Could she be counted on to tell the truth? Is she a credible witness?
In a statement, Maxwell's attorney said Johnson's concerns are unfounded, but he also held out the prospect that his client will plead the Fifth. He suggests that decision will be made after Maxwell's expected meeting with the Deputy Attorney General. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, right now downtown, police reporting a crash 24 eastbound. That's going to be the East Loop right there at Shelby Avenue. And then crash still working there by, according to TDOT, 40 westbound near Hermitage Avenue, exit 212. And in Clarksville, Highway Patrol still on the scene, 24 westbound past Wilma Rudolph Boulevard, exit 4. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I strongly encourage you to take the time to call Premier Generators and talk to them about installing a home generator in your home this summer. Obviously, with the summer storms that come through, your electricity could go off just like that in the blink of an eye. What do? You don't know how long it's going to be off, especially if you work from home or if you have a family member that needs electricity, perhaps they're on oxygen or whatnot. I mean, it's an absolute no-brainer that you make the call that so many others have made to Premier Generators. They are your #1 certified Generac generator in Tennessee. And if you do any modicum of research, and I encourage you to do so, you'll know that Generac is the way to go. They're offering right now their 10-year warranty on all generators, free consultation. They're not going to try to pressure you. This will improve the value of your home. It will give you endless energy, even if the power goes out. It's the way to go. Go to premiergenerators.com for more information, or just make the call that so many others have made. Talk to them if you have any questions whatsoever. They're not there to pressure you. They're there to talk with you about the benefits of a home generation system from Premier Generators. Premiergenerators.com or 855-797-4766. That's 855-797-4766. 4766. Do me a favor and tell them Murphy sent you to Premier Generators. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Nashville Safe House. We talked to Mark yesterday, and he talked about the incredible rebates that are now going on with Browning and Liberty Safes at Nashville Safe House. I want you to get out and find a safe right for you. Look, if you believe in the Second Amendment as I do, then maybe you've got some guns, but you don't have secure storage for those guns, because you have to protect those things that are there to protect you, your family, and your property in your home. And you do that with a quality safe from Nashville Safe House. They have about 200 safes on the showroom floor, another 400 or so in their warehouses. That means they have more safes in stock than any place in the Southeast, and I would dare say across the United States of America. Right there in Nashville on 4th Avenue South at Nashville Safe House. Online, NashvilleSafeHouse.com, or see Mark and his team. I'm going down there soon. He said he had something special for me, which I want to see. And he's got something special for you in the form of a safe at Nashville Safe House. I love it. I love everything about it. We got Andy Ogles on the line. We're getting to Congressman Ogles in mere seconds. 63.99. You won. 6399 writes in on the super text line and says, the only time Murphy will engage with texters is if you disagree with him. So, Matt, you're wrong about everything. Let's talk. Well played, 6399. Well played. Congratulations. And you're wrong, too. How about that?
Take that.
Take that. That's my high-level intellect coming out on the
what for, boy?
That's exactly right. Give him the old...
Text back in for nincompoops. Vote for Jackson.
Give him the old raspberry. Hey, easy. Don't do that. So that's low. That's low for you. Yeah, and we got company. Don't show out in front of company. Congressman Andy Ogles is here. Obviously, Congressman Ogles representing the 5th Congressional District and representing the state of Tennessee up in Washington, D.C. We haven't talked to Andy in a month of Sundays. Hello, Congressman. How are you, sir?
And I'm doing great. And by the way, I'm enjoying the back and forth between you guys. Keep it going. Like, this is good stuff.
We're goofs.
Hey, and I'm stuck here one more night, and but truly, hearing you guys, hearing your voices, familiar voices, it's great to be on the show. Appreciate your voice of conservatism. I do have an announcement for our veterans that's breaking news. If
let's go.
Okay.
Oh, I love that. Let's go.
And I know there's lots of other things we want to talk about, but it's a project that I've been working on for about 2.5 years. But obviously our veterans, they serve our country. We make promises to them as far as healthcare goes. And so the Committee on Veterans Affairs just allocated $74 million to build it's called a CBOC, but it's a community-based outpatient clinic in Nashville to provide better care for veterans in Middle Tennessee. And we've got, I don't know, it's like 26,500 veterans just in Davidson County. So it's taken me 2 years to get that approved, but our veterans in Middle Tennessee will be better served with this project. Again, it'll cost about almost $75 million, but that's a huge win for our veterans. Promises made, promises kept, and I'll keep you posted as we have more information on building and when we're breaking ground and that kind of thing.
That's great news.
I
Great
literally
news.
just got this letter about an hour ago. It was just handed to me.
Well, that's fabulous news. Anything that we can do to better the services provided to our veterans, let's do it. And thank you, Congressman Ogles, for your participation in making that happen. That's excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir. So fire away. What are we going to talk about today,
I thought we would be in so let's start here. I thought we would be in danger of having to avoid votes today. But the Speaker of the House decided that it would be best practice to go ahead and gavel out. The mainstream media are telling us that he did this primarily to avoid the Democrats trying to circumvent the process by throwing Epstein amendments on everything. What's your take on this? And look, I'm not asking you to disagree necessarily with the Speaker, but would you have preferred that we stayed and maybe got some more votes done prior to gaveling out a little bit early?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm always one of those voices that says, look, as we barrel towards another CR continuing resolution, let's stay here over the weekend. Let's work longer days and let's get through the appropriations process. I mean, that normal, it's called normal order, which simply is creating a budget. Hasn't been done up here in 20 years, and so let's get back to that. That's how we really fix this thing. That's how we fix muscle memory. So I'll be more than look. I love my family, and I love being in the district. Traveling around the district, and again going to the ice cream suppers, but the ice cream events and the fish fries and all that. I mean that's where it's at. That's where you connect with people. That's what keeps you grounded. But we have work to do, and I'll stay here and I'll work through our quote-unquote break to get this done. So Speaker's my friend. Until just recently, he was literally my roommate. And so I appreciate the Speaker, but let's stay here and get the work done. And look, this Epstein stuff, this is stuff we have to deal with. And it's something I think you're on the air every day or at least 5 days a week. You talk to people, you hear people, and I'm guessing they're telling you they want to know what the heck's going on.
100%.
So let's get it done.
100%. I mean, and look, I so appreciate, and I know that you do too, the success of the first 6 months. And I know that the president and the White House more generally, they're concerned that something like this that they had so little to do with might overshadow some of the successes. But I think we can do both at the same time. We can celebrate the successes. We can continue to move the ball forward in terms of transparency and deal with this. And I feel like the president, and I don't want to suggest I know his motivation too much, but you tell me, Congressman, I feel like he shifted on it. At first he said, get over it, we need to move on and do other things. Now he's saying, okay, if y'all want the Department of Justice to deal with this, I'm going to unleash Pam Bondi and let her try to get as much information to the American public as possible.
Well, I mean, so let's look backwards in time. President Trump has been president for, 6 months, right? The Democrats had access to these files for 4 years. Senator Marsha Blackburn in 2023 tried to subpoena the Epstein files and get them released, and Democrat Dick Durbin blocked it. I mean, so let me tell you, if there was anything in there that remotely implicated the president, or any Republican for that matter,
Amen.
They would have released it.
100%.
They would have thrown a parade. They would have blown it out of proportion. But they didn't have anything. Now, look, there are ongoing investigations, which means some of this stuff may be slow to come out. But Pam Bondi has been deporting people and arresting child molesters and child traffickers. Meanwhile, she's also rooting out the corruption within the Justice Department. I mean, whether you like her or not, she's actually doing a good job. And so trust her to do a good job. And if she stops doing a good job, look, I've been going after Belmont, a great university in my hometown, because they've made a mistake, right? I'll be the first person to stand up on the Capitol steps and say, look, you made a mistake here. The American people expect better, but she's doing a good job. Tell me if I'm wrong. Show me where she's not doing a good job. But when they're deporting, murderers and rapists and not only across the country, but in Nashville, I consider that a victory for the American people because, oh, by the way, deportations are up, crime is down. We may actually hit a historically record low murder rate for history because of what she's doing. So again, let's give her a little room. All right. Now, at some point we have to revisit this conversation, but I just don't think there's anything there. I signed on to Tim Burchett's resolution to subpoena Maxwell, to bring her before Congress, to have her tell us what she knows.
Yep.
Because again, one, the American people want to know. Quite frankly, I want to know. By the way, I'm not in the files. And I know that's going to disappoint some of the Democrats that are listening right now. But that being said, let's get to the truth. Let's move on, and then let's get back to the business of the American people, which is making sure that America first is what's on everybody's mind.
I think obviously the Epstein story is an important one because it goes back to the heart of the transparency promised by the Obama administration, transparency that we did not get for the 4 years that Biden was in the White House, and certainly during the term of Barack Obama. I think it's a much bigger story what's coming out of the Director of National Intelligence and her briefing earlier today and the file dump last Friday. I don't know how much you've been able to follow that, Congressman, but this conversation about the possibility that the President of the United States of America directed his Director of National Intelligence, the Director of the CIA, to gin up a report that more directly implicated Donald Trump for the purpose of subverting his presidency in 2017. This is huge, and it rises to the level of, if not treason, perhaps sedition. And I'm curious if you're following this story and what you have to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's shocking that you had really this conspiracy. So, when you look back at the Russia hoax or, the collusion, we know now that it was manufactured. We know that they had evidence showing that there was no collusion, there was no influence, and yet they let that story move forward and amplified it. And so I'm no attorney. I'm guessing the immunity provision protects Obama from any sort of prosecution. Again, there's folks who are experts on this that can pontificate on that far better than I can. But I would say that there's other people, whether it's the Clintons, whether it's Garland, whether it's Comey, that had a hand in this, had knowledge of this, and they may very well face consequences.
Congressman Andy Ogles is with us. For the next few minutes, I want to talk about this Belmont story because this is pretty big, and a lot of people are sensitive to this story, and you just kind of alluded to it, Congressman, that Belmont is an esteemed university in our community. We love Belmont, but, when people do things wrong, we got to call them out, and this story came about, and you've called for a full investigation on this. Tell me how you discovered this, when you found out about it, and what you're asking of Belmont University and what you're able to do to lean in and get that information from them.
Yeah, so and to be clear, I mean, Nashville, we are so blessed in so many ways. Our geography, just the culture, great food and great music. The economy is fantastic. And we have these great educational institutions in Nashville, Vanderbilt, Belmont, David Lipscomb, you've got Meharry, you have TSU. I mean, we are rich with opportunity for people to come here to get great educations. But that being said, there is an executive order from the President of the United States, 14173, that prohibits any university receiving federal funds from implementing DEI programs, and Belmont thumbed their nose at the President of the United States. Now, what I will say is that yesterday there was, and by the way, to answer your question more specifically, a whistleblower came forward. We have more information that we have not released. Some of it, we'll see how this proceeds. Some of it, quite frankly, might actually need to be referred to the Justice Department, but that we will work with the Justice Department to see if that's necessary, because I want Belmont to do the right thing. By the way, they just opened a fantastic state-of-the-art medical school. You realize what that does to Nashville? And again, the opportunity for students who want to go to the university and become a doctor, be able to do it not only at Vanderbilt, but at Belmont. So they have the opportunity, but the Office of the President sent out an email. We were given a copy of it yesterday at around 3 o'clock, a little before. They are implementing, they're going to get a third party to come in to review their policies, identify any issues where they are in noncompliance with federal law. There's also a state issue for them as well, but we'll get to that in a second, so that they remain in good standing with federal regulations, rules, etc. And so this is the right step. There's been a recent story that both UT and Vanderbilt have been implicated in. I don't have all the specifics of that, but what I can say about both of those universities, they have been proactive in making sure that they're correcting and getting rid of any DEI programs, whereas Belmont, again, I want to be careful how I say this, but they've been slow to respond. But this email gives me hope that Belmont's going to do the right thing, that they're going to protect their brand and, quite frankly, their reputation and honor the president's executive order. And that being said, there's a Tennessee state law that states that you can't knowingly profit either directly or indirectly from illegals being in this country. Belmont has indicated through internal communications that they know they have illegals going to the university. They are receiving dollars on behalf of those students, whether through tuition directly or through federal aid. And so there's a profit issue there that they're going to have to deal with. And again, that's separate. But what I will say is they're moving in the right direction. We will continue to hold their feet to the fire because the president has spoken. He has written an executive order, 14173. You must be in compliance. It doesn't matter who you are, which university you are. There's a whole host of others that we are talking to as well that have similar violations, to hold them accountable, to make sure the indoctrination stops. I have a daughter going to college. I'm sensitive to this issue. I want her to go get a good education. I don't want her to be used and abused by the left and their rhetoric and their indoctrination and the nonsense. Hey, it's an area, an opportunity for free thinking, but you can't discriminate that. And by the way, and I took issue with the chancellor, when you're reverse discriminating and quoting scripture, that does not necessarily make you a better Christian than your fellow man. It makes you a hypocrite. And so that's why we call Belmont to the task to fix this, to correct this. I'm glad they're quoting scripture. They have to come into compliance with federal law.
Well, and one of the reasons that I'm glad that we have you on to hear it from the horse's mouth, because so many of our left of center media organizations around town want to suggest that Congressman Andy Ogles is somehow anti-Belmont. You're just pro following the law. You're pro doing what Belmont needs to do to get in compliance. And if our friends at Belmont are making a mistake, when they get called out on it and they make corrective action, good for them. You don't have to be they want it one way or the other, right? They want you against the university when you call them out on things like this. And from what I'm hearing you saying, you're not anti-Belmont. You just want them to correct the mistakes.
Hey, for the record, I love Belmont. My daughter applied to Belmont. She was accepted to Belmont. I'm not going to go pick a fight with Belmont because it's Belmont. I like Belmont. I'm going to do they're not in my district, but I'll do anything I can to help our universities, to help Nashville, whether they're in the district or not. But at the same token, you can't reverse discriminate and then hide behind Scripture. Right? There are laws that prevent reverse discrimination, and they've made a mistake. But what I will say, and again, for the record, I love Belmont.
Yeah.
But they have to correct course here, and I think they're going to do it, and I'm glad for that.
Final thought and final question from me in the minute or two that we have left. We see these radical leftists, some of these paid protesters that are trying to sneak into these town halls, and I know that you've been doing a lot of telephone town halls as a result. Do you foresee an opportunity to get back to regular town halls where you can, be out and about? I mean, I know you go to a lot of events. Every time you're home, you go to events. But, several of our listeners are asking, is it possible that we get back to kind of a regular town hall structure and get these stupid radical activists out of there so that the people of the 5th Congressional District can speak with you?
Well, so two things. One, we're doing a town hall tonight, so a lot of your listeners will probably get a text. They can join the town hall this evening. But that being said, I have a relatively small district compared to others, but because of the density of the population, we opt to go to events around the community, and quite frankly, it gives you a different mix of individuals versus just a town hall. I'm not afraid or against holding a town hall, but at the same token, every weekend, every night I'm home, there's something to go to, and it's quite frankly logistically more streamlined to do those and touch more people, a wider range of people. Because look, there's not a lot of people that are necessarily going to get up off the couch to go see a town hall, but they're going to go to the ice cream supper. They're going to go to the fish fry. They're going to go to that dinner up. I mean, I was just at an event with like 200 people. I guess it was Saturday before last. And so it allows me to interface with more people than just those that are distinctly interested in politics. But I'm not against town halls. I mean, that's why I've been outspent in every election, and yet I outperformed Trump in the 5th Congressional District because I am the grassroots guy. I'm out there in the community as much as physically possible. I'm in an R9, meaning I have a 9-point advantage against a Democrat in the general election. Trump won it by 12. I think I won it by 17.8. And so that being said, but that's because I'm the grassroots guy, and I try to reach as many people as I can. I would like to think that our office has built quite the reputation on constituent services. I've been fighting for our veterans, and like I said, we're doing a town hall tonight. And
I'm glad that you brought us back to the veteran story, because that's a big story. $75-ish million in investment for our veterans in this community. Tell us more when you can about that, and thank you so much for your time availability today, Andy. We'll do it again very soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Take care. There's Andy Ogles, 56 after the hour on Super Talk. Hot outside, no matter if you follow the temperature, which is God's way of doing things, or the heat index, it is hot, hot, hot. That means the AC is running hard, and Jeff Eddy is here for you if anything goes wrong with that AC. Efficient Heating and Cooling is a small company with big service and big results. I trust the man, Jeff Eddy. I've broken bread with him. I've had deals with him. He's helped me out, and he can help you out. Jeff Eddy and his crew do what's right every time. They don't charge you overtime rates, for example, because they don't believe in it. If you're trying to make a decision as to whether to repair or replace, they'll give you their honest opinion, and you can trust what they tell you. They understand that if you need it fixed and fixed quickly and you want to get through the rest of the year, they're going to try to make that happen. But if it comes time, they're an elite pro partner with Rheem, and they can help you out with that as well. Go to efficienthvac.net, efficienthvac.net, or call 615-784-4424, 784-4424 for Efficient. Defend Systems is a life safety and security consultation firm, and they're based right here in Middle Tennessee. By now, if you're a longtime listener of the Matt Murphy Show, you've heard me have multiple conversations with the owner of Defend Systems, Brink Fiddler, and his team of experts. They come into your community. They'll go to your business. They'll go to your church or your school, and they'll help you understand what an active shooter can do to your facility, what your response should be. Workplace violence is a reality in 2025. What should your response what that should be, and what preventative measures should be in place? Emergency and intruder action plans, rapid response medical training, security improvement consultation, all specifically designed for your facility and for your staff at your direction. It's what they do every single day. They make the world a safer place at Defend Systems. Listen, the possibility of you having to encounter one of these situations is very low, but it's not zero. That's the point. Hope is not a plan. It's time to get trained with Defend Systems. Call them today at 615-236-6484, 236-6484, or defendsystems.com.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. I can tell you that forecast is a scorcher. And looks like National Weather Service says the heat index right now in Nashville is 100. Right now in Middle Tennessee, 5th District Congressman Andy Ogles telling WTN's Matt Murphy Show the more than 26,000 veterans living here are going to have another option when it comes to health care.
Committee on Veterans Affairs just allocated $74 million to build a new, it's called a CBOC, but it's a community-based outpatient clinic in Nashville.
Now, that's 26,500 veterans living in Davidson County alone.
I'll keep you posted as we have more information on building and when we're breaking ground and that kind of thing. Literally just got this letter about an hour ago.
Clarksville getting 2 new hospitals. The Tennessee Health Facilities Commission approving applications from St. Thomas and TriStar during a hearing today, but it came with pushback from the only hospital currently operating there, Tenova, which said it can handle the patients.
It makes absolutely no sense to take what is a highly utilized, vital resource for the community that is very popular and then put a new hospital and a new ED right next door to it. That is not to help geographic dispersion of services. It does not help any type of health planning.
Again, the hospitals were approved anyway. They'll include emergency rooms, surgery, cardiology, women's health, and more. But officials say they won't be up and running for at least 3 years. Kilmar Abrego Garcia update. 3 judges issued orders today, seemingly paving the way for his release on bond while awaiting trial on human smuggling charges. Abrego Garcia ordered to be released from jail in Tennessee, then placed under Immigration and Customs Enforcement supervision in Baltimore. But a magistrate judge here in Nashville ordered a 30-day pause to give time for the Justice Department to appeal. And the only person to be convicted in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring has been subpoenaed to give testimony to House investigators. Will she do it?
The House Oversight Chair says the deposition would take place next month at the federal prison in Tallahassee, where Ghislaine Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence. Earlier, House Speaker Mike Johnson expressed his support for the subpoena, but he also raised questions about the value of Maxwell's testimony.
Could she be counted on to tell the truth? Is she a credible witness?
In a statement, Maxwell's attorney said Johnson's concerns are unfounded, but he also held out the prospect that his client will plead the Fifth. He suggests that decision will be made after Maxwell's expected meeting with the Deputy Attorney General. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
In Idaho today, Brian Koberger's victims' families had their say ahead of him being sentenced to prison for the rest of his life for the 2022 murders of University of Idaho students Kaylee Gonclaves, Madison Mogan, Zana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin.
May you continue to live your life in misery. You are officially the property of the state of Idaho, where your fellow inmates are anxiously awaiting your arrival. But it's okay, because they're there to help you. Hell will be waiting.
That is the mother of one of the victims, Kaylee Gonclaves. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, Two Rivers. TDOT says there's a crash blocking the right two lanes. Briley Parkway, right there at Two Rivers Parkway, exit 10. Then downtown going eastbound on the East Loop. Police say there's a crash at Shelby Avenue. In Madison, TDOT says the right three lanes are blocked 65 southbound right before Old Hickory Boulevard. That's because of a crash. In Laverne, we got a vehicle fire reported by TDOT. It's blocking the right two lanes at 24 eastbound near Waldron Road. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Hour number 3 begins right now. It's about 9 past 5 o'clock. Thank you for being out there with us. A great conversation with Congressman Andy Ogles, touching on a number of different topics. Andy announcing during that conversation $75 million in a facility that's coming to Nashville, Tennessee to benefit our veterans. A little bit vague on the details, but Andy promised that he would get us some further details when they become available. So that's great news. Also discussing Belmont University, the decision on the part of the Speaker of the House to leave town as opposed to allow the Democrats to turn what should be a final few votes into a dog and pony show. There are different ideas on that. I would stay and stick had I been in the halls of Congress or in a decision-making capacity, but Speaker Johnson decided to leave a little bit early. That might be a question for our next guest. You never know. We're in the midst of we're in the midst of campaign season. It seems odd to say that in 2025, but it's true. For those who haven't been keeping up with this, obviously we got a lot of things that are shaking out, right, in Tennessee. And I was just talking to Jody Barrett about this, how exciting things are about to be, because you've got the governor's race that's coming up next year. Obviously, you've got all of the congressional campaigns that are a normal part of the cycle. But with John Rose making the decision to throw his hat in the ring to be the next governor of the state of Tennessee, with Governor Bill Lee being term limited, that opens up the 6th congressional district race. And a number of different candidates have already come out and said, hey, I want to be your next 6th congressional district congressman. Great. Well, in the midst of all of that happening, we had Congressman Mark Green making an announcement that after the big, beautiful bill passes, he's planning on retiring. And that kind of opened the door for the 7th congressional district. But it also creates a generous level of confusion because 6th congressional district is a year from now. That's the normal cycle of things, and we got plenty of time to talk about that. It'll be here before you know it. The governor's election will be here before you know it as well. But the 7th congressional district, that's a different animal because that's a special election, and we don't even know when the dates are going to be specifically, but we do know who some of the candidates are going to be, and I've invited them all on. And toward that end, Representative Jody Barrett, who currently represents Dixon. I always forget the counties, and you always Lewis.
Yes.
Dixon. Hickman?
And Hickman. You got it. Ding, ding, ding,
His
ding.
Representative Jody Barrett is in as a representative of those communities and as a candidate for the 7th Congressional District. What's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just laying around, not doing a whole lot of anything right now.
You're just running around, man. I know you're busy. I talked to you last week. I said, Jody, when are you coming on? He said, I can't come on this week. I'm out. And I'm like, come on. I'm out. I'm in the communities. I'm meeting and greeting folks. But, yeah, this thing is crazy, right? Because tell me what best we know about have you heard when the primary is going to be? Have you heard when the general is going to be?
I have been told, I won't say the name of where I heard this from because I don't want to get him in trouble, but I've been told that we can anticipate perhaps the governor issuing the writ tomorrow.
Okay.
And so if the writ comes out tomorrow, it looks like the dates for the primary and the general will be October 7th and December 2nd.
Okay.
So we're talking a very short runway here for 8, 10, 12 candidates, however many we end up with on the Republican side of things.
Is it going to be that many?
I know of at least 8 right now, and with the people that are floating around kind of kicking rocks trying to decide whether or not they're going to get in, it could be as many as 10 or 12.
Better get in quick.
Yeah. Come on in, guys. The water's warm.
Jody says as many, the more in the pool, the better.
That's right.
And then you've got the Democrat. They've got 2.
There are 3 now, I think.
I think
Vincent Dixie's going to get in as well. So you got Bo Mitchell, Afton Bain, and Vincent Dixie.
I'm excited not only for this conversation, but I'm excited this Friday. We got Afton coming back on the show. So
this for round 2, right?
Yeah, round 2. She was on before. We had a great conversation about who actually pays taxes last time around, and
right.
This time around we're going to have a good conversation about what is and is not against the law when it comes to attempting to out ICE agents doing their job.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
We have a really good slate of candidates, I think, that are in on the Republican side. On the Democrat side, I think it will be fascinating because I think the 3 of them each have their own individual constituencies.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be fascinating to watch how they interact with each other in debate or in forums and whatnot, and what angles they take to try to get the most votes and win that primary on their side.
How would you describe the 7th Congressional District?
Largely rural. It's very diverse because you've got the wealthiest county in the state, a good portion, more than half of Williamson County, a good portion, about a third of Davidson County, and then you have the fifth largest city in Clarksville, Montgomery County, and then the rest is all rural counties. So there are 14 counties total, 2 partials and 12 full. So it's very diverse. Goes from like I said, the wealthiest counties to some of the most poor, distressed counties that we've got.
How instructive has it been to you in the early stages of your political campaign? Because in a more limited area like you represent now, you probably know everybody.
Yes.
Or just about everybody. And now you're kind of reaching out, and you can find a very divergent focus of what a congressman should be doing in Washington, D.C. between, Franklin, Tennessee, and the rural communities between Franklin and Clarksville.
Sure. And I think that'll be the biggest challenge for whoever does win this seat and ends up in D.C. is trying to strike that balance, right? I think what we see happen a lot of times in a district like this is it's natural to get drawn to the part of the district where the most money and the most votes are, and sometimes the rural counties get overlooked. That's one of the things I think that I bring different to the table as far as the slate of candidates that we have, having represented rural counties like Hickman, Lewis, and Dixon County, and being born and raised there. Those are the folks that I relate to and know very well. I mean, I can go from the courtroom in my suit straight out to Dixon to the Livestock Center as well and talk to those folks. So I think I have the ability to kind of cross across the lines there.
Cheatham's in 7, right?
Cheatham's in, Yep. Robertson as well.
I would have prepared, had you been on a week or so ago, to ask you about all this TVA stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But boy, oh boy, that got handled. When you get Trump on the phone, our buddy John Rich gets Trump on the phone. Good for the people of Cheatham County, good for John, and good for TVA for recognizing the importance of backing off on this issue.
Sure.
And I know that you support that.
No, 100%. And, John and that fight with TVA is just proof that when you have somebody that's willing to bow up and dig their heels in and not take no for an answer, that you can get some things done. So John, with the people behind him and the power and the pressure that they put on, really got that done.
So, what is the priority for you as a candidate as you're out and about talking to folks, or what do you bring to the conversation in terms of what you think your focus should be in the 7th District?
Well, I think the thing that I lean on most is my record. For those people that don't know me and haven't met me, like you said, Hickman and Dixon County know me very well. They've known me my entire life. And they've watched what I've done over the last 3 years in the state legislature. So part of what I have to do now is go to the other 12 counties and introduce myself and show them my voting record, show them the type of bills that I've run over the last 3 years, and tell them, you don't have to guess what kind of representative I'll be in Congress. I've got a record here for 3 years that shows you what I'm going to do, and this is the type of person I'll be.
So in the interest of disclosure, you've been on the show many times. You and I have disagreed on any number of issues. And I think a subject that will come up for you as in your campaign will be school choice.
Of course.
Obviously, you were vocal in your opposition to the school choice legislation that was passed by the General Assembly. I think ultimately 53 Republicans voted in favor, 20 or 21 voted against. You were one of the ones that voted against. Donald Trump supported that legislation. He came out in support of it. What do you say to folks about that? And I think you came out with a statement encouraging Governor Lee to adopt the Trump approach.
Yeah, well, what just came out of the big, beautiful bill was the codification of what Trump has been proposing all along, with a tax rebate or tax credit for folks that would be able to incentivize them to make donations into these scholarship programs, so that we were essentially privatizing school choice. Instead of having the government be in control of it and using taxpayer dollars to fund it, he's going about the process of creating a way for nonprofits to get formed and then give the people the incentive to give their own money to those scholarship programs, and then they turn around and award the scholarships.
But, isn't that tax money ultimately?
Well, what you're doing is you're not ever touching the money. The government's not taking it out of your pocket, which is, as a libertarian, someone on the libertarian end of the Republican Party, that's the way we look at taxation, is instead of the government taking the grain and telling you what type of bread you're going to get back, we're saying you keep your grain and you decide what kind of bread that you want to make.
Right, but if the federal government continues to spend at the rate that they're spending at, and less money goes into the federal government, through taxation because of these private scholarship setups, then we're adding money to the national debt.
You're reducing the tax burden for the taxpayer, for sure.
But once again, if the I'm just trying to understand, if the expenditures stay the same, and instead of sending my $2,000 in my tax burden, that is the federal tax burden to the government, I send it to a private scholarship fund, that's $2,000 less going to the feds and going to the private scholarship fund, which I'm fine with. But unless we get a handle on the overspending, that it feels like that's just borrowing against our debt.
But I think that's part of the larger picture, right? You have to pull back from the 50,000-foot view and see all of what President Trump's trying to do with education. It's very clear that he is on a mission, I think, to do away with the Department of Education at the federal level.
Yeah, sure, certainly.
Which will certainly reduce spending at the federal level as we get rid of a lot of those jobs. And so the question will be then, what do you replace it with? And probably it looks like some sort of block grant program where we're sending large chunks of money to the state with instructions that say, hey, here's your money. You spend it how you want to with these guidelines as to what we want to see on the federal end.
You were on the record as saying, and you told me as much, that, when you talked to your constituents in your district, that they were soundly opposed to the school choice plan that passed the legislative process and was signed by the governor. Do you believe that the people of Williamson County or Clarksville and some of these other areas are so adamantly opposed? What have you found?
Well, I think it will certainly be a more diverse crowd. When you go from 70,000 constituents to 700,000, you're going to have a different view. I think widely across the rural parts of this 7th Congressional District, it was not a popular bill or plan the way they were doing it. I know even in Williamson County, there were parts of Williamson County that was not supportive. But there's a need that's different in those communities that have private schools, that have struggling public schools, inner city schools as well, parts of Davidson County that's dealing with this. So, I'd say that there's certainly going to be a more of a mixed bag on that. In my district in the 69th, it was probably 100-1 opposed. I don't think that's going to be the case across the 7th.
Could you foresee as a congressman voting against the Republican majority and siding with Democrats like you did on that bill?
Well, I would not put it in terms of siding with Democrats.
Well, you certainly did.
I would put it in terms of siding with the people that I represent in my district.
You voted against the majority of the Republican Party. I think that's a fair. We can look at it different ways, but that's a way to look at it. You are on record as saying that you didn't believe that it was an honest or open debate.
No, when you spend $1 billion in a 3-day special session and you don't have the ability to fully debate the
well, you better be getting ready for Congress, Jody.
Yeah.
They turn around bills in Congress in 12 hours.
Sure.
It's just going to get worse in Congress.
Yeah, the difference is that you don't have special sessions. When they turn around bills in that short period of time, that's when the votes get scheduled. But the bills have been sitting on the sideline, on the simmering burner for months before they get to that point. So it's a little bit different up there.
Well, certainly so. Well, we'll continue with Jody Barrett. We'll talk to him about recent events and recent developments in the halls of Congress, and does he believe that we can get to regular order by fall, which is the hope of many Republicans in the halls of Congress. And you never know. Jody Barrett might be up there come after, I guess, what'd you say, October? I guess December.
December 2nd, I think, for the general, yeah.
And this 7th Congressional District race is going to be boom like that. We've got another segment with Jody Barrett next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare. Grace Point Healthcare is incredible, affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine, and it's old school, right? It's located in the heart of Franklin. I encourage you to call. I give this number often, 599-6868, 599-6868. Here's the reason I love it. At Grace Point Healthcare, they are a direct pay environment. This does two things for you. It keeps your price point down in terms of what it costs you, and you know exactly what it's costing you up front. Secondarily, the insurance companies never get in the way of your relationship between you and your doctor. And sadly, that happens far too often nowadays with a lot of medical practices. And it never happens at Grace Point. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's why they call it modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. They do house calls if necessary, if you're too sick to come in. They do same-day appointments or next-day appointments, no long wait times. And that Smart Care plan that I tell you about, $69 a month, which includes free office visits and free labs, that is now covered with your HSA account. Thank you to the big, beautiful bill, which is now the big, beautiful law. Call them at 599-6868, 599-6868 for Grace Point Healthcare.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia update. 3 judges issued orders today. We'll tell you about them at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is not the end of a conversation. It's just the beginning of a series of conversations that we're going to have about the 7th Congressional District. Our guest is Jody Barrett. He is a candidate for said same. And I want to put this subject to bed and move on to other things. You are on record as saying you are in favor of school choice.
Yes.
But you were against this bill just because of the, without going through it again.
We don't need to litigate that.
The method and the machinery and the way that it implements itself. You just disagreed with the implementation.
Love the concept, hate the how.
Okay. That's a fair comment and a fair statement. It's a fair stand. I imagine you love what's going on in the first 6 months of the Trump presidency.
Oh, we are winning. You know, all the winning that we thought we'd get sick of the first 4 years.
Nope.
I'm not getting sick of it yet. Are you?
No, not yet. Not yet. Where do you? Have you followed? As an attorney by trade, you're probably better positioned to speak. I mean, some of the Epstein stuff was a couple of missteps within the Department of Justice on the front end. Where do you think we'll get information and the transparency that so many of our our listeners want?
Yeah, I think there was probably a little political grandstanding at the beginning, talking about what they had and what was on the desk, so to speak, and which kind of puts you in a box. Once you roll that out there that you have that information, then that makes the people want to see it. And so now I think they're trying to figure out, look, how do we do this? How do we release this information without implicating innocent people as well? Because we know that not everybody that rode on that plane is a pedophile. Not everybody on that list was engaging in those activities. And so you have to be fair to those folks and make sure that you're only really implicating and going after the people that are the bad actors.
What, if anything, comes to mind when I tell you the first job that Jody Barrett will tackle, should he be selected as 7th Congressional District Representative, is?
Find where the bathrooms are.
That's fair, I suppose. The first task coming out of your office to benefit the people of the 7th District?
The first task really will be to set up my district offices and staff them to make sure that we have people in place that can hit the ground running on day one to be able to handle what the needs of the folks throughout the district. So legislatively, we'll have a list of things that we're going to try to work on. Certainly coming in the middle of somebody else's term, it's going to be very difficult for me to really make any big splash. And I don't know that I want to do that anyway. The first guy that comes into the duck blind and starts telling everybody else that's been there for 20 years how they need to be calling and shooting the ducks usually doesn't get asked to come back. And so, I'll go up there and try to just like I did 3 years ago here, try to make as many friends as I can, learn the lay of the land and develop relationships and figure out how things work up there.
If I gave you a choice of committee, what would you pick?
Well, obviously, I've had some experience in commerce and banking here in the state. I think that's with my business background, that helps quite a bit. But also with this district being so rural and agriculture being a big part of it, I'd love to serve on the agriculture committee. I think that would be something that would serve this district well.
Listen, I know it's going to be a compressed time frame, but we'd love to have you back when you're through Nashville. I know you're following through the district. A lot of candidates to talk to, a lot of candidates to filter through. And I know you'll be talking to a lot of folks and shaking a lot of hands. Thanks for taking the time today.
Hey, thank you for having me. I always look forward to speaking with you.
There's Representative Jody. Oh, by the way, where people can find out more. I like to give the old plug, the old plugger.
Sure, jodybarrett.com. All the information's there, and then you can go on Instagram, X, the X machine as you call it.
Yeah.
And then also on Facebook, it's Jody Barrett for Tennessee or Jody Barrett for TN.
And shout out to Leonard, by the way.
Leonard, my man, he's taking good care of me.
Leonard's your guy. So there's Jody Barrett. We've got news. We've got nincompoops on the way. It's 32 after the hour on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Kilmar Abrego Garcia update. 3 judges issued orders today, seemingly paving the way for his release on bond while awaiting trial on human smuggling charges. Abrego Garcia, who was living in Maryland whenever he was deported to his home country, El Salvador, ordered to be released from jail in Tennessee and placed under ICE supervision in Baltimore. But a magistrate judge in Nashville ordered a 30-day pause to give time for the Justice Department to appeal. A federal judge in Florida turned down the Trump administration's request to release grand jury materials in a Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking investigation that dates to the mid-2000s, but House investigators will depose convicted co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell August 11th at the prison where she's serving 20 years. Speaker Mike Johnson called an early recess, foregoing a vote on bipartisan legislation aimed at forcing the release of documents related to the Epstein case. But Tennessee 5th District Congressman Andy Ogles telling WTN's Matt Murphy this afternoon he'd rather stayed in Washington and vote.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm always one of those voices that says, look, as we barrel towards another CR continuing resolution, let's stay here over the weekend. Let's work longer days. And let's get through the appropriations process. I mean, that normal, it's called normal order, which simply is creating a budget.
Current funding of the federal government runs out at the end of September. Brian Kohberger headed to prison for the rest of his life for murdering 4 University of Idaho students 3 years ago. He had to face his victims' families today ahead of sentencing.
The scariest part about you is how painfully average you turned out to be. The truth is, you're as dumb as they come. Stupid, clumsy, slow, sloppy, weak, dirty.
That's Olivia Goncalves, the sister of victim Kaylee Goncalves. Reports say Koberger will be in a cell for 23 hours a day for the rest of his life. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Two Rivers, a crash blocking the right two lanes, Briley Parkway northbound. They're at exit 10. At downtown, we got a crash reported by police, eastbound East Loop over there at Shelby Avenue. Then in Woodbine, a crash is blocking the right two lanes, 24 eastbound at I-440. A stalled vehicle off on the left shoulder, 40 westbound near Fessler's Lane. Then in Madison, we've got a crash reportedly blocking the right three lanes of 65 southbound before Old Hickory Boulevard. Also, 65 southbound at Briley Parkway, Ellington Parkway, exit 90AB. And in Laverne, TDOT says there's a vehicle fire blocking the right two lanes of eastbound 24 at Waldron Road. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Alpha and Omega Computer Consultants. I've sat down with Michael. I've talked to him about how things have changed in the almost 30 years that he's been in the computer consultation business. And he said, Murphy, do you have a week and a half? I could probably get it all in then. I mean, a lot of things have changed. I mean, obviously, they came into the industry when most people were not on a network. Most people did not have the internet. Most people did not have the dangers of cybersecurity, but we are intimately familiar with those dangers today. And they do it all at Alpha and Omega. Every aspect of your computing in your office, they can handle it for you and take that off your plate completely. Whether it's just computers themselves, whether it's cybersecurity you're concerned about, IT issues, internets, printers, whatever it might be, they can handle it at Alpha and Omega. That's why they call themselves, well, wait for it, Alpha and Omega. If you're a business owner and you're not cyber protected, boy, you need to be. Friends, it is not enough to, I'm just a small guy, Murphy. I don't need all of that. Yes, you do. Studies show that 70% of cyber attacks happen to small businesses like yours. Get Alpha and Omega on your team. It will save you time. It will save you money. 615-784-0096, 784-0096, or a&o.net. That's a&o.net. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Man, oh man. You ever have one of those days where it's 5:40, it's time for Nincompoops in the news, and you don't have a story yet? You ever have one of those days, fellas?
Not today.
Oh, Jackson's riding high on a 2-victory streak. A 2-day victory streak.
I was having that kind of day just 10 minutes ago.
Uh-huh. And what about now?
I got one.
Cameron Smith joins us from the Tennessean. He writes over there. He writes all the best words. I say all the best words. Join us on our podcast, All the Best Words, found on where you find your podcast, mainly on 997WTN.com and on our YouTube page, Supertalk 997 WTN. Hello. Hey, Jackson. How about yeah, there you go, buddy.
Do it now. Yep. Here we go.
Follow it.
All the best words.
All the best words. We're being we're being outpaced by the dork in the morning, the dorks in the morning.
The conspiracy dorks.
Yeah, I mean, Mandis and Hand. Have you seen this kid?
You know we call them Handis.
Oh, really? Do you?
Yes, we do.
I call them man hands.
Man hands? Okay. I like it.
So, Cameron Smith and Matt Murphy do our little podcast. I guess we don't talk about it enough, but don't share it. I don't know how these things work. I feel like they're organic. And, we get, a less than respectable 100 views an episode or whatever it might be.
That is definitely less than respectable.
We're growing it organically.
With real live organs.
And Handis or Man Hands,
yep,
they come out of the box with their, whatever they're doing.
A bajillion views.
And they have a bajillion views.
It's probably because they're just good-looking guys. Nah. It's not.
Well, I mean, if you put you and I together,
mm-hmm.
and you put Chris and Dan together,
mm-hmm.
they win, but it's all Chris.
Yeah. He's got great hair. He does. Everyone knows it.
I mean, right?
It's true.
I mean, Ken Weaver single-handedly keeps us afloat in the looks department on this.
Amen to that.
Well, that's just because my long beard hides most of my face.
Oh, that's a great feature.
I'm going to let – I think – say, I don't know. Was that a compliment? Or?
No, I feel you, man. Whenever I'm having the uglies, I just am like, let's beard this.
Let's beard it up, baby.
Let's go.
Let's beard it up.
Well, I think I'm growing this one out until I can swing a golf club again.
That's
now I'll
fair.
cut the hair. The hair, I'm done with the growing the hair long. I did that, been there, done that. But I think I'm going to go ahead and grow the beard out until
sir.
And
you're going to grow the beard out until the Epstein files are released.
There we go.
It's going to be a really long beard.
You said that. I didn't say that.
It's going to be a real long beard.
A great American would do that, Matt. Are you a great American?
I am. I feel like I'm a great American.
Do you believe in government transparency?
I think I do. I feel like I do. All right, I'll make a deal with you.
Okay.
I don't know what it is yet, but I'll make
Let's
a deal
do
with
deals.
you. I need to consider it. While I consider the deal that we'll be making, let's play the jingle that we often play for Nincompoops in the News. While I look for a Nincompoop in the News.
Nincompoops in the News.
Let's see if I can find a Nincompoop in the News. I don't have to worry about going first because I haven't won in a month of Sundays. I think it was Jackson's victory yesterday. What'd you do? Some naked dude in a tanning bed without the sock?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good one. I mean, it was so good that I gave up before I even delivered mine. So Jackson's here. Hello, Jackson.
Hello, buddy.
There's Ken Weaver. He's over in the newsroom. Normally, he delivers the serious headlines. In this segment, he goes a little off the beaten path, and we love him for it. Cameron Smith typically joins in with a nincompoop or so, and then there's me, Matt Murphy, and you get to vote on who the nincompoop is of the day. Jackson, you're the two-time winner, buddy. The floor is yours.
Let's see if we can make it 3. Man who stole boat for naked Manhattan joyride escapes NYPD custody at hospital. A man arrested for swiping a boat from a Manhattan marina to go for a naked joyride on the Hudson River escaped NYPD custody at the hospital where he was being treated on Wednesday. Stephen Blissetti slipped out of New York Presbyterian Hospital in Washington Heights around 6:30 a.m. this morning, despite being in police custody. He may have slipped out of the hospital after donning a lab coat and pretending to be a doctor, according to unconfirmed preliminary reports. He is facing grand larceny charges for allegedly swiping a dinghy from a marina in Inwood around noon Saturday, and then rode to a catamaran and then was moored out in the Hudson River. NYPD Harbor Unit nabbed Blissetti, who was naked at the time of his arrest on the second boat.
Showing off his dinghy.
It was believed he was high on drugs, possibly methamphetamines, at the time of his arrest, and he was taken to the hospital to be evaluated. He's been in the hospital under guard since Saturday and was still awaiting arraignment in Manhattan Criminal Court when he gave cops the slip. Cops on Wednesday were trying to determine exactly how he escaped the hospital and were scouring the area for surveillance footage that could help track him down. Now, who's the nincompoop here? The guy who got high and went on a naked joyride, or
some cops?
The cops that got fooled by a guy who was naked.
Yeah. I just like the idea of a naked dude just slipping on a lab coat and a stethoscope, walking around the hospital. Doctor.
Just nothing else, just Winnie the Pooh in it in a lab coat.
Yeah, just doctor.
See, that may be the hospitals. The hospital may be the nincompoops.
So many. I think there's a nincompoop to go around here.
There's a lot of nincompoops in that story. I would agree with you. But you said dinghy.
He did, and it's funny.
You don't want to know the name of that marina.
And dinghy is never not funny anytime that you say it.
Watch your language here.
What
this
was
is
the
a public place?
It was a public market. What was the name of the marina?
DYCK Man Marina.
It is not.
Yes,
it is. That is not true.
I swear.
No, it's not.
On everything.
That's it. Jackson wins.
Yeah,
wait. Dykeman, we'll go with?
Yeah.
You're saying that the name of the marina is Dykeman Marina. DYCKMAN.
I'm assuming.
And they got a lot of dinghies.
Yes. And a man who gave cops his slip, or they slip. Oops.
Yeah, just let's go around by vote. A catamaran, that's bigger than a dinghy, right?
Yes.
There were 2 boats.
Mm-hmm.
He stole 2 boats.
Stole a dinghy, then got into a catamaran.
Yes.
Yep.
Cops caught him on the catamaran.
What is this guy, Navy SEAL?
He was working hard out there.
It's like
he was sweating.
He's like a master of disguise.
Telling you.
You know? Mr. Cameron Smith, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this one.
Oh, don't get too excited about it.
Well, I haven't had much time, and you guys, the tanning bed
I'll
one.
go.
The tanning bed one was so good.
I did not have a story 30 seconds ago. I'll go. You want me to go?
I'm going because I have a story now. Yeah. A Florida man was arrested last week for allegedly threatening on X to, quote, kill everyone on what he believed was the Jeffrey Epstein client list. Charging documents unsealed Monday show Terrell Bailey Corsi allegedly posted the threats on X last Tuesday, seemingly reacting to a response from X's AI agent Glock that disputed any such client list exists. Well, and this is the quote, well, at Glock, you're wrong. Everyone involved, if I see them in real life, I will kill on sight, he allegedly said. I will kill everyone on the list on sight, and they absolutely deserve it. Roughly an hour after that post, he posted another one singling out 3 governmental officials unnamed in the charging documents, saying he would kill them on sight. That's when he got the FBI's attention, and ultimately he was arrested. And it doesn't seem like this guy is in great mental health, but the fact that he had started by arguing with Glock about the Epstein list before making it clear that he was going to kill everyone on
I got into an argument with Glock the other day. It was about, I forget what it was about, but Glock was wrong.
Right. And then you realize you're arguing
with a machine.
Generative AI. There's no there.
Yeah, but isn't that how the damn thing learns?
Apparently. Like, I don't know how.
I don't understand it because it keeps telling me that I don't have Glock 4, and I never asked for Glock 1, 2, or 3, so I don't know what it's asking.
Glock 4 is like $400 a month. So
is it really?
It's a great deal. Imagine what you can generate. I just feel like this is the story. Like, my dad referred to Tucker Carlson when he was on Fox News as Tucker, like he was a family member, and was like, well, Tucker said, and now people are doing, well, Glock said. Grokk's not even a person.
Not even a real being.
No.
X is not a real place. Glock is not a real person. And yet here we are arguing and then deciding to kill everyone.
We've reached a point where people who became famous because they're on the X machine think they're actually important.
Yes.
And that's a problem.
It is.
You know. All right. Thank you. By the way, every time you're here, Travis notes that I have you on too much.
That's probably true.
Travis said, is there a topic for today, or are we just wasting time? We're just wasting time, Travis. He also says on the YouTubes, I've been skipping the Matt Murphy show. He talks to Cameron too much.
That's a good reason to skip, though.
I agree.
I mean, geez, man, at least you're consistent.
But I bet he's still listening.
And it's hurtful that...
Conservative veteran says, I'm not sure what Travis has against Cameron. Cameron's smart and fun. So there you go.
I'm so fun.
There you go.
That's what people say when they don't know what else to say. They're like, I'm fun. I'm super fun.
Yeah, it's like
we do fun things.
That scene from When Harry Met Sally. She's got a great personality. Is she good? So she's not good looking. That's what they say when they're not good looking.
My wife, in her sorority, if they didn't like you, they said you're nice, cute, sweet. And that meant you weren't getting a bid.
Really? Is that how they do?
They had to say
Those
something
sorority
nice.
chicks are mean, man.
Vicious.
Mean, man. You were a frat guy, right?
I was.
We've established this on the show. Okay, very quickly to content. Otherwise, Travis is going to get upset and bold.
Okay.
I found this story, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes ago. It's a good one. A married Connecticut couple. Do you know what the Mile High Club is, Jackson?
I do. I read this story. I was going to save it for tomorrow.
Yeah, well, you're not going to get it because I've got it today. A married Connecticut couple is facing felony charges after joining the Mile High Club on a JetBlue flight Saturday morning. Just don't. There was a time where it was funny, maybe. There was a time where maybe it was cute, unique. I don't know. It's not new. It's not unique. It's not funny. And those you're in a very small bathroom and it's stinky. What's wrong with you people?
Somebody has pooped there.
They're probably just men,
What?
That's what's wrong with them.
I thought you meant there were just men in the Mile High Club. What? That would be weirder.
Very different Mile High Club.
Very confused. Trisha Riley, 42, and Christopher Arnold, 43, traveling to Sarasota, Florida from John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York when they allegedly engaged in, quote, lewd exhibition, according to a probable cause affidavit. It also uses a word. I can't pronounce that
Lascivious.
word, Ken. What is it?
Lascivious.
I can't pronounce it.
I knew that it was there.
It was there, and you just skip them.
Lewd and lascivious.
I can't pronounce it. So I just say it again.
Lascivious.
Oh, there you go. A flight attendant told cops several youths and their mother witnessed Riley and Arnold, quote, performing sexual activity aboard JetBlue Flight 163 when Brian Zepp, a JetBlue attendant, walked to Mrs. Riley's seating area in the 25th row. He, quote,
this should be good.
Witnessed her making up and down movement in his lap. I edited that because it was a little too much. So for those of you that thought what I said was a little too much, it was actually worse. And Matt Murphy edited.
Whoa, so we're talking Mile High Club in the seats?
They're not even in the bathroom. They're in the seats. Come on, man.
Yeah, man.
You're not even trying.
Yeah.
You gotta go to the bathroom. You gotta wait for a minute, and then you gotta make sure the thing's not. And then the other. I've never done this, but that's what
the galley even.
Right, hang out there, and then
slip the flight attendants some money and be like, you need to take a break.
In a witness statement, a female passenger who was flying with her 2 children said that during takeoff she spotted the woman later identified as Riley. I can't say that. She was doing something to her male companion. She noticed that my 2 kids were watching them, and she didn't stop. After that, she was laying on him like she was doing something else that I also can't talk. I can't talk about most of this story. O'Reilly, a medical receptionist, and Arnold, a general contractor, were arrested when the flight arrived in Sarasota. The duo, who live in Danbury, Connecticut, were booked into the county jail, and they were freed on Monday. There you go. We got to go quick. Ken Weaver, go.
Let's see here. I was doing something else. Here we go. Fugitive thwarted by 12-year-old Tennessee girl who tackled him in a field after alleged break-in attempt. A man who allegedly fled while trying to break into a Tennessee home last week in Crockett County reportedly had his escape thwarted when a 12-year-old girl tackled him in a soybean field. According to the Crockett County Sheriff's Office, a preteen resident of the home credited for the capture of attempted intruder 35-year-old Robert W. Seals. Seals now charged with criminal trespassing. Crockett County Sheriff's Office says Seals also had an active arrest warrant against him for undisclosed charges. Sheriff's Office says Seals tried to break into a home on Johnson's Grove Road around 6 o'clock in the evening on Thursday, July 17th. He took off into the nearby soybean field upon being spotted by the homeowners. Unbeknownst to him, their 12-year-old daughter gave chase, and a driver who witnessed the bizarre pursuit stopped to help, providing critical support in restraining the suspect after the girl tackled Seals and prevented his further escape.
Wow. 12 years old?
Yeah. A local farmer also saw what was going on and provided zip ties that were used to secure Seals until deputies arrived at the scene. So a farmer, a passerby, and a 12-year-old girl took Seals into custody, and now the University of Oklahoma football coach Brent Venables is seeking out the 12-year-old girl for a scholarship.
She could improve the defense there, partner.
In fact, I'm going to tell him exactly where Crockett County is.
That's how we play nincompoops in the news. Vote Weaver, vote Jackson, vote Cameron, vote Murphy, vote often. 615-737-9986. Back after this. I know I've got a live spot to do here. I've got to tell you about a wonderful company, but the way you people are sucking up to Cameron Smith on the Super Text line, it's gross. Absolutely gross. And y'all need to check yourselves. Have some self-respect. Cameron's got a great personality. Cameron's a good teacher. Cameron looks like Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks? Is that like skinny Chris Gaines Garth? Or I've kind of given up and I've eaten too much fried chicken at Publix Garth?
I just want to see you pivot this into a live spot.
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you this. Speaking of girthy, let's talk about the Tennessee Men's Clinic. The Tennessee don't make me laugh. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is your one-stop shop for all things men's health in our area and in the state of Tennessee. And really, they mean that. If you have a men-centric problem, and really, it primarily revolves around our ability to continue our love life beyond what we used to be able to do. We found that a lot of men lose testosterone levels throughout the course of their life to the point that it could inhibit you when it comes to intimate romantic relationships, Maha Club or otherwise. You need to get back to life again, man. I wouldn't recommend it on an airplane, but the Tennessee Men's Clinic can help you out when it comes to your love life and bedroom activity. And all it takes is one stop, one appointment, and they can get you going again, get back to life again. Visit one of their qualified urologists. 2 locations, Cool Springs and Midtown. Give a call, 615-208-9090, 208-9090 or TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Friends, go to uspest.com to see what US Pest can do for you when it comes to you and your family. I mean, we're in the midst of it, right? Bug season is here. And if you've not already done so, you need to contact US Pest. They're not going to go away on their own. And frankly, beyond the summer season, which is always a problem with bugs, you've got the fall season. The spiders are out and about, and the fleas and the roaches and all of those things. And eventually they'll want to move into your house. I mean, that's what they do. They might hang out of doors, but they're coming in for the food. They're coming in for the warmth eventually. They like the cold AC this time of year. So for full-service pest control, termite protection, and crawl-space service, there's only one that I recommend. It's US Pest. Two things. They love the United States of America at US Pest, and they hate bugs. 590-1260, 590-1260.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. A lot of developments today on the Jeffrey Epstein case. Just moments ago, we learned the House Oversight Committee recently voted to subpoena the Department of Justice for all records related to the investigation. Chairman James Comer will need to sign the subpoena for it to be officially issued and has the discretion to disregard or use the subcommittee's vote as a basis for further action. Comer did subpoena for sex trafficking co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell.
The House Oversight Chair says the deposition would take place next month at the federal prison in Tallahassee, where Ghislaine Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence. Earlier, House Speaker Mike Johnson expressed his support for the subpoena, but he also raised questions about the value of Maxwell's testimony.
Could she be counted on to tell the truth? Is she a credible witness?
In a statement, Maxwell's attorney said Johnson's concerns are unfounded, but he also held out the prospect that his client will plead the Fifth. He suggests that decision will be made after Maxwell's expected meeting with the Deputy Attorney General. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Epstein's grand jury transcripts will not be released, according to U.S. District Judge Robin L. Rosenberg, who says she can't, as far as legal terms goes, because it's under the guidelines governing grand jury secrecy set by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit. Kilmar Abrego Garcia update. 3 judges issued orders today, seemingly paving the way for his release on bond while awaiting trial on human smuggling charges. Abrego Garcia ordered to be released from jail in Tennessee, then placed under Immigration and Customs Enforcement supervision in Baltimore. But a magistrate judge in Nashville ordered a 30-day pause to give time for the Justice Department to appeal. Elsewhere in Middle Tennessee, Clarksville will be getting 2 new hospitals. Channel 4's Brendan Tierney says it didn't come without pushback from the only hospital currently operating there right now.
Tenova Healthcare runs the only hospital in Clarksville right now and opposed the new facility, saying they can handle the patients.
It makes absolutely no sense to take what is a highly utilized, vital resource for the community that is very popular and then put a new hospital and a new ED right next door to it. That does not help geographic dispersion of services. It does not help any type of health planning.
These 2 new hospitals represent a more than $430 million investment in the Clarksville community, but hospital leaders say it'll be at least 3 years until the first patients are treated.
Both hospitals will include emergency rooms, inpatient surgery, cardiology, women's health, and more. The approvals granted following a hearing by the Tennessee Health Facilities Commission. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Got a crash downtown, 24 eastbound near Shelby Avenue. Got a stalled vehicle on the left shoulder, 40 westbound at Fessler's Lane. A crash blocking the right 2 lanes, 24 eastbound right there at 440. In Madison, police reporting an injury crash, 65 southbound before Briley Parkway, Ellington Parkway. And in Laverne, a vehicle fire blocking the right 2 lanes, 24 eastbound near Waldron Road. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, my name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Proud to be with you for the final hour of this day on this Wednesday. It is, what is it, July? What is it? Is it the 23rd? We've only got another week to go. 30 days have September, April, June, and November. All the rest of 31. So we got like 8 days to go in the month of July, and then it's August, and it's officially football season.
Amen, man.
Mm-hmm. Cameron and I were just talking about how much we need it. I mean, we won't talk a lot about it here because, you know, we become a refuge from those who don't want to talk so much about football, but for other things. Our purpose is different than the sports station or whatever, but we'll have a moment or two. I'm begging for 2 things. I'm begging for a Friday segment with one of our sports brethren.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm begging the new suit to let me do that.
That's awesome.
Maybe Ron Slay or Brett Doherty or whatever, to talk Titans and whatever college games are coming up. And then I am similarly begging for a Monday moment with Ken Weaver. I think this could be very special. But it's got to have more alliteration attached to it. But a Monday moment where Weaver reflects on the best of worst of the weekend when it comes to foosball. Because I just like the way he says it. So,
well, I'm excited for all of it. I don't care. I mean, I will be there. I literally signed up for the chain crew for Nolensville High School football games because I love football that much.
Good for you.
I want to be on the sidelines.
I've often wondered who those dorks are.
Oh, God. And it's the best because I'm on the opposing team's sideline and I can hear all the smack that they're talking, and it's glorious.
I bet so.
It's fun.
A lot of reaction to our Nincompoops segment, which ran very long, and that's on me. That's not on Jackson. I know everybody thinks it's on Jackson, but it's on me. I'm going to take responsibility for it, Jackson.
I don't think anyone thought it was on me.
I think everybody was blaming you for running long, but I'm just going to go ahead and take the weight off your shoulders there.
Sounds like fake news, Matt.
Okay, whatever you want to call it, but I'm trying to take it off you. I'm taking the burden away from you, Jackson.
Appreciate it, bud.
The big takeaway is that my new nickname is Girth Brooks.
Oh, God.
Girth Brooks.
Thanks, guys. Love you too.
That is pretty good.
That's a thing.
What's our tally on Nincompoops?
That's what I was about to go do, but I got caught up in this because everybody's sucking up to Cameron. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It is.
Cameron likes Demo's bread and soup. He's cool with me. I don't even know what that means.
Whoa, wait, what?
I don't know. Is that a Wasted Bacon reference?
No, it's a restaurant. It's amazing.
Never been to Demo's, Matt?
I'm not.
We got to rectify
is that in Hendersonville?
They have multiple locations. There's one downtown, I think.
Okay. Well, I've not been.
We should do that.
Okay, very good. And then Justin went on to say, I'd suck up to you, Matt, but you never respond. And I said, thank you. Let the sucking up commence. And and then he did. He sucked up. He said, I think I have a man crush on you because I've grown a Murphy hairstyle. And he said a nice thing. And I'm not gonna repeat that because I'm not worthy of the repeating of that. But God bless. I'll just say this: God bless Phil Valentine. There's only one Phil Valentine, and I ain't he. Anyway, did you say Girth Brooks? Yes, we said Girth Brooks.
Yep.
Caitlin says you're more of a poor man's Chris Stapleton.
Well, I'm smooth as Tennessee whiskey.
Jackson's dinghy for the... Yeah, you know what? You just want me to tally this because you think you got it.
I think I did.
Jackson, got to go with Weaver. Vote for Weaver. I'm tired of all the naked... how about this? 5100 says, I'm tired of all the naked nincompoop stories. Weaver has my vote.
Wasn't Weaver's naked?
Ken wins again. I don't know. I can't remember. Weaver takes it. Murphy, Weaver.
Mm-hmm. There's a boomer sooner in there. You don't have to count that.
And then, sad to see, Matt, your show is falling so far. Then comes Sit in the News, just adolescent wet dreams and stupid slapstick comedy, a lot of naked people. So 7889, we do a segment every day at 5:38. We call it Nincompoops in the News, where we do fun stories. We kind of lighten the mood. I hope you were able to listen when we had a congressional candidate on the show, Jody Barrett, who is a current representative of the Dixon-Hickman County areas. We also had Congressman Andy Ogles on the show. We talked at length about the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and her further reporting of what she considers to be treasonous behavior on the part of the Obama administration in 2016. And we also gave an update on the Epstein files. Happy to serve. And also just to note, not that your silly text message concerns me, but we have more listeners today than we've ever had, according to the rating service that we subscribe to. So there you go.
Well, I mean, or you could have just gone, and that would have worked too.
Probably better.
Yeah.
I'd be done with it.
You guys, some of you guys are like the most fun people ever, and there's like two of you who really need to just be happier.
Nah, it's all good.
Smile more.
It's all good. I mean, it's, everybody's got, opinions are like elbows. Everybody's got a couple of them, and I absolutely love every single person, every single one of you. If you get under my skin, if you make my skin crawl, if you're just a jerk to me, whatever, I appreciate you listening. Thank you for being a part of the family. We're all one big family.
It's facts.
And I love certain members of my family more than others.
If Ray and I can find love, there's hope for anybody.
And I feel like you have.
Yeah. Well, he wants to go with Cameron Romney versus Garth Brooks, and that's his right. And that's fine.
Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
I think Garth Brooks is Garth Brooks now, though.
Yeah.
Have you seen him lately?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all good. I mean, I'm fat and happy too.
We're
I'm
all
a big
getting
boy.
older, you know.
I mean, I get it. So I've made the case, and I feel like you're going to pour cold water on it, but I don't want to guess.
Well, now obviously. So,
is there a path to sedition? Maybe there's no path to treason. You and I talked about this on a recent episode of All the Best Words that is yet to drop, and I don't know if it drops tonight or Friday, but wait for it. So I don't know that we can get to treason in terms of what we believe and what we know the Obama team did in the aftermath of the 2016 election. But is there a path to sedition? At least for some of the players, if you were to prove that they knowingly presented false information with the purpose of it leaking to the American people, sowing the seeds of unrest across America and leading to ultimately the impeachment of the President of the United States of America.
So this is what's so weird. I don't even know who we're talking about anymore, because seditious conspiracy was one of the things that the Biden DOJ went after some of was it the January 6th people? Is that where?
Correct.
That's where we've heard that. And so that one, I pulled up the code section, 8 U.S. Code 2384. It's 2 or more persons, blah, 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 conspire to overthrow, put down, or destroy by force the government of the United States, levy war, oppose by force the authority, delay, prevent, hinder the execution of any law, and take property. I mean,
circumvent the will of the American people.
So that one seems like the election stuff doesn't seem to fit in just the code section that I'm looking at, but it sure feels like it should be illegal, right?
I mean, the definition of sedition: conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems to fit the definition of what at least Clapper, Brennan, and Obama are accused of.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the code section that's talking about like what you would prosecute them, because that seditious conspiracy is 20 years, something like that.
Look, I'm just trying to work off the basic format that the Democrats said we're working off of right now, that you can go after former presidents in a criminal setting.
And I think this is ultimately what we're trying to get at, is like, if you're going to play the game and we're going to do the stupid thing, which Democrats did and tried to shoehorn all kinds of different things into the U.S. code that weren't there, and a lot of that got thrown out. Now Republicans are like, we can do that.
So I don't know that it fits easily, and you and I talked about this on the podcast. I don't know that it fits easily into one specific category. But my question then is, if we are to assume, and it's a big assumption because you have to prove these things in a court of law,
right.
no question. But if I told you that these things happened, that they went back to the well, they redrew the intelligence reports for the specific purpose of tying Trump to Putin, and suggesting, if not out and out, saying that there was a conspiracy between the two entities for the purpose of winning the 2016 election.
Right.
And then they floated that to the American media. If I said all of that was true and that happened, and you say to me, well, none of that's against the law, then I would ask, well, shouldn't it be?
So the question would be, so that's actually where I am. It's like, I don't think it quite fits any of the existing criminal code. And so the crime would be something like, lying to using the government to facilitate a lie to the American people.
For the purpose of overthrowing a duly elected president of the United States through the apparatus of government.
Well, in the election, right?
Well, if your purpose
is
the
impeachment,
if you use the information, the false information that you float as the basis for impeachment, then that is I don't know that it's illegal.
So the disconnect would be that the impeachment is a political function in the Congress, right? And so the idea of I in the executive branch float all this misinformation. I know it's misinformation, but I allow it to kind of percolate up so that the folks in the legislature who, want to impeach this guy anyway, do the thing they want to do.
I guess at some point in the course of the trial in the Senate, you have to get people on the record.
Mm-hmm.
And so at best, you're getting perjury charges for those that are knowingly?
We probably, I haven't read the whole transcript and all the testimony, but there was a lot of testimony here. And so, you might get somebody on that, like perjury, that they lied to Congress about what they knew and when they knew it. Some Hill staffer is looking through that right now, saying, hey, is there an opportunity here? And the problem is, it is at the least incredibly unethical behavior. It's dishonorable. It's terrible. Let's assume that it's not criminal. People still know it's wrong. Like you knew stuff that would have helped the American people make informed decisions, and you willingly misled them.
Well, and you spent a large amount of money. You engaged in a special prosecution of an arena that there was no. There's a lot of things going on, and I can't. Some would suggest, and this is what always happens, the Democrats never let it go.
No.
And they overplay their hand, as evidenced by January 6th, right? There was a lot of fault on January 6th, but they completely overplayed it with their seditious conspiracy and all that.
Bridge too far.
But at the same time, I'm like, should we not look back on this and fully report on it, at very least, to make sure that it never happens again, or we try to protect against it happening?
So my question would be, in light of this information, we had a commission, Marco Rubio led it, that said, hey, Russia engaged in malign activities here. It doesn't look like they changed any votes. That was kind of where we ended up. But
we never got here.
That's what I'm saying. Does anything here change the conclusions of that commission?
Well, no, I think most people that have studied the issue, we know that Russia was screwing around.
Bad actor, yeah.
There's a lot of countries that screw around. China screws around.
North Korea.
Yeah. So we know that Russia was screwing around.
Iran did, but
no. But what the conclusions of Brennan, Clapper, and Obama were that were made up was that they were screwing around. Trump knew they were screwing around, and they were doing so specifically to benefit Donald Trump. And they were tying Trump's people into the screwing around.
And they knew it was garbage the whole time.
And once again, is that political?
It's clearly political.
I mean,
we know
it's
it's at least
political.
that.
Right. But the question that you and I think a lot of people want to assume that it's criminal.
Yeah.
And I get it. I understand where you're like, well, that's got to be criminal.
Yeah.
If you're doing that. I mean, there was a 2.5-year investigation. It cost like $40 million. I mean, they impeached him over this business. They impeached him again over even more flimsy.
Well, this is the reason that, like, this game of we're gonna impeach everybody for everything, everything's treasonous, all this stuff. Like, I get it. I understand the knee-jerk reaction here of, like, this is awful. Like, you knew something that would have helped the American people know what was going on, and you deliberately misled them. Like, I don't see how you read this any other way than that. And that's I think a charitable way of looking at this, and that's a problem, right? And then the idea that, well, now Republicans control government, and so we should engage in political prosecutions that don't have a strong legal basis. No, we shouldn't do it either. Like,
I'm not a part of Club Republican, but I would speak for them when I would say, why is it always us that have to be the bigger people? Why is it always expected of us that we take the high road? Because if Democrats had their way, Cameron, Donald Trump would be in jail.
Sure. Because what's right's right. It just is. And I understand that.
Well, but that's not right. The way they act is not right.
I agree. But the answer to this is awful and evil and wrong cannot be, I'm going to do it too.
No, but what are we doing? We're not doing it too. We're not lying and making things up. We're pointing out what they actually did.
Which I think is completely fine. That's a different animal than saying, hey, I've got a clear legal theory here that you violated the law and I'm going to prosecute you. I support that 100%. But I think in this case, we don't have a clear legal theory because guess what? If they did, it wouldn't be Tulsi Gabbard that's announcing this and calling it treasonous. They would have filed charges.
Well, I think she's referring it.
Congress refers things all the time. Other people can refer all the things. You'd think that the Attorney General of the United States, if she had the goods, would not arrest them today and prosecute.
These are the reasons that Republicans and conservatives continue to lose in Washington, D.C., because they are not willing to play the same game that Democrats play. Democrats will put your ass in jail on false charges, and we won't even – you look at me like, well, yeah, sure, refer it. Like we've already lost?
My point is that enforce the law. If you got the law, attach the facts to the law. Now you got a case. Prosecute it.
Well,
so my point is, why would you not have the AG prosecute it versus the DNI announce it? They work for the same guy.
I agree. No, and that's a fair point. We'll get to your calls coming up 25 after the hour. Hey, Jackson, we're very late again. Imagine that.
Late.
Super Talk 99.7 WTF. By the way, I agree with TB. I just saw TB's comment. Man, oh, man. He's just doing it for balance, though. Hey, let me tell you, I love Savory Spice. I absolutely love this shop. I love Holly, love David, love the fact that they're locally owned, love everything about it. Because you come to a point in life, I've told this story in the past, you come to a point in life, you don't want to buy the lower end of anything, right? I mean, you have a little bit of expendable money. You want to make sure that you have quality in your life, not just quantity or not just the low end. So, and especially when it comes to putting things in your body. So if you are buying, a nicer cut of steak or maybe a nicer cut of salmon or the veggies from the farmer's market as opposed to the discount place, if you're still using those same old spices that you bought from the discount space, I'm telling you, you're doing it wrong. You need to go to Savory Spice. They have all of the spices for you. You can refill the cupboards. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg. They've got great seasonings and different blends. They've got the Spice and Easy line to help those of you that don't know your way around the kitchen. And all the chefs already know about Savory Spice because they've got the exotic flavors that you cannot find anywhere else. They are experts in the spice game. You up your food game by upping your spice game. You up your spice game by going to the one and only Savory Spice, just off the square in Franklin. Tell them that Matt Murphy sent you. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solutions Center. Dr. Brian McLaughlin wants to help. I want to mention this, and I want to make sure that you know this. With your health involved, Dr. McLaughlin takes this very seriously. If you've already been diagnosed with sleep apnea and you can't wear a CPAP machine, you need some assistance because your health can be negatively affected by the very presence of sleep apnea because you literally stop breathing in your sleep. With an FDA-approved oral device that is in network for most insurance in the state of Tennessee, you're going to see your airway open. You're going to breathe better. You're going to sleep throughout the course of the night. You're going to snore less, and I'm certain that your partner will love that. It's all about your health. It's all about your comfort. Sleep apnea is a serious issue, and it needs to be addressed. Call Dr. McLaughlin. Schedule an appointment today. They've got 2 locations. One's in Murfreesboro and the other in Brentwood. Go to TennesseeSleep.com to start the process. That's TennesseeSleep.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being out there. God bless every single one of you. It's been an interesting day. No, I have not forgotten about my Superman review. Have you seen Superman?
No. I heard you say positive things, and then I watched Herb Street and some others totally trash it. So
Herb Street?
Yeah, Kirk Herbstreit.
Why did Herbstreit trash it?
Said it was just Superman getting his butt kicked the whole movie, and Lois Lane was the hero.
Well, there was an obvious effort to, I don't know what they want. Do you want, so the knock on Superman has always been, and I've heard this complaint, that Superman is just getting thrown around and getting his butt kicked. But the knock on Superman historically has been that he's too perfect of a superhero. That if you take the genesis of Superman, the only thing that can hurt him is kryptonite.
Right.
Well, is that an interesting story?
Yeah, how many times can you just tell a kryptonite story?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And kryptonite is involved in this storytelling, but in a different way.
But it has to be.
Has to be. But it's a different take on it because there's no kryptonite on Earth. And Lex Luthor figures some things out. But so I get it, and I don't understand these purists that are coming out like, well, Superman isn't. Why are they kicking Superman's butt? He would kick. So the movie would be like 4 minutes long.
Right.
Like Superman sees bad guys, Superman just destroys all the bad guys, and Lex Luthor goes to jail.
That's why I'm struggling to get into the superhero stuff generally.
I don't. I'm not about it. And my least favorite part of the movie, because I'm not about it, but I recognize this is my bias, I don't get into the CGI fights.
Yeah.
And all of the superhero movies have the CGI fights. Like when you and I were growing up, the fights were far more realistic because they didn't have CGI.
Right.
And so, you'd have Superman, like Superman 2, where the chick lifted the bus and threw the bus at Superman. The Superman had to catch the bus because there's people in the bus. Like, that was all done.
Right.
But it was much more contained. Now they're like knocking entire skyscrapers over.
Right.
It's too much.
Yeah.
That happens. That happens, but I did not allow that to distract me from what I thought was a pretty good story. And there's a lot of dog in it, and I love the dog.
Does the dog have a cape for real?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it leans on the comic book. The comic books. So gone are the days where you do a superhero story and it's just that superhero.
Right.
Because you live in a world of
right.
They explain that in the beginning of the movie. They don't go into the backstory. He just jumps right into the movie.
Right.
And so, it's a crawl. It's done pretty well. It's like, 3,000 years ago, it was discovered that there are metahumans that have superpowers on Earth.
Right.
300 years ago, this happened. 30 years ago, Superman fell to Earth from Krypton. 3 years ago, this happened. And, it's kind of cool because it goes 3,000 years ago, 300 years ago, 30 years ago, 3 years ago, and then 3 hours ago, and then 3 minutes ago, basically, Superman just got his ass kicked. And when it says that, Superman's falling from, boom, and then the story starts.
Yeah, particularly for what's interesting for me is I still like movies. My boys, and have worked on those projects and intend on making some more of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I keep running into is that my boys don't care. They don't want to sit there for that. They're like, is it 5 seconds long? Is it a Mr. Beast episode? Right. If it's not, we don't want to sit there that long.
Different, yeah.
It's weird.
Skulls and mush. 9832 demonstrates that everybody's a hater on the super text line. So Superman is a perfect superhero, but him knocking down buildings in a fight, it makes it too... No, that's not what... No. Good Lord.
Could you say what you mean, Matt?
What I'm saying is the knock on Superman, what makes it difficult to tell a Superman story has been that the origins of Superman are that the only thing that can hurt him is kryptonite. Nothing else can hurt him. And there are people that are angry in this movie because Superman bleeds, right? Those purists want a movie where nothing can hurt Superman. Well, in that universe, all Superman has to do is make sure that all the kryptonite is gone, and then there's no more movie. There's no dramatic tension. There's no drama. He's not knocking buildings down if other people can't hurt him.
Yeah, well, you know what? I bet if he has red blood, he can't breathe in space either.
This is also a movie where Supergirl goes to a planet with a red sun so that she can drink because alcohol doesn't affect them on this earth, which is fun.
Well, that's a heck of a bar.
Because she's Supergirl.
I have to go to a different planet to drink. I don't like this one.
But I like that.
It's not my vibe.
Well, she's right at the end of the movie. So, I thought it was good. I thought it was a decent story. It made me tense and uncomfortable at times because I'm a huge dog lover, and Crypto gets in some tight spots.
Yeah,
and it's got a good dramatic arc, and I appreciate it. It does change things up in a way that creates moral dilemma for Superman. And I think that's important to advance the story. And it was not one of the biggest criticisms that a lot of people talked about, none of them had seen it, was that it was woke. It's just another woke story. And I think James Gunn contributed to that because he talked about, Superman's an alien.
There's just not that many movie makers we say Hollywood. Hollywood's not really a thing anymore. But like the big studios that own the intellectual property to those superheroes movies, yeah, there's a lot of folks that are liberal. And so guess what? When they make a thing, it's liberal.
But here's the thing. James Gunn talked about it, but this isn't.
Good.
They don't get into that aspect of it. There's a little geopolitics involved in what Lex Luthor's trying to do, but they don't. And Lex Luthor constantly brings up the fact that he's an alien. And he leans on that. That's how he tries to turn people against Superman. It's like he's not from around here.
And then ICE shows up in masks to arrest him.
Right. Well, not ICE.
Are you sure?
He gets arrested.
Just saying.
He gets arrested.
Spoiler.
Or not arrested, but
I just want to know.
Probably shut up now.
What's the dog's name you said was Crypto?
Yeah, it's from the comic books.
So you name him after your home planet and the thing that can kill you.
Oh, right.
As you
would.
Yes.
As you would.
Okay.
I'm gonna name my dog after the listeners.
The listeners. I love
the things that I love and the things that are going to kill me.
To kill you.
Right.
It's good.
All right. What if Superman put the kryptonite in a Faraday bag? I don't even know what that means.
A Faraday bag is like you put it in that stuff so it sends no signals out, right? Isn't that what a Faraday cage is?
I guess there were some things that take me away from it. Look, I don't get into the more sensational. I thought it was a decent enough story. And I do not think that it was woke. And if you're looking for just a couple of hours of fun entertainment it's not too taxing on your brain, I would recommend Superman. All in all, I give it, I don't know, I'm going to go with 4 out of 5 Murphys.
That's good, I think, probably.
Mm-hmm. And Herb Street can pound sand.
As long as we're going on hypotheticals, what would happen if you had a 16-year-old who drove a car without oil and break the engine?
What if I had that?
Mm-hmm. How many Murphys does that get?
That's 0 out of 5 Murphys.
Well,
so is this a story close to your heart?
Very close to my heart. In fact, my home.
Wait, when did you find out about this?
Yeah, so my son, he has a old Volvo, like a 2012 Volvo. Safe car, yay, good for teenage drivers. He tells me, and he's been driving not that long, several months now. He's a good driver, but likes to, this little scooter Volvo. He likes a little pickup. He said, Dad, it's making a noise. And I look at it, he turns it on, rev the engine, and it's clearly knocking. It's not good. And I said, well, have you checked the oil? Oil.
What?
Yep, oil. I pull the oil stick out, wipe it off, stick it back in, pull it out. It's dry.
Mm.
And apparently this Volvo had a history of burning oil. That was one of the challenges with that particular engine. Had burned up all the oil in the thing. And now I've been told by the repair guys.
New engine?
New engine. And I mean, it's
how old?
2012.
New car.
Right. And so that's but he likes the car. The car's in great shape. And so, except for the engine. And so he's like, but maybe we can do this. So if any of you guys happen to know anyone who has an inside track on a 2012 Volvo S60 T5 engine, you just drop me a line.
I mean, I'm sure you'll be flooded.
Flooded. people.
any second.
Yeah.
Or maybe if you have a line on a good used car salesman.
Also true. I just need wheels.
What do you do with that? Which one is it?
It's Cam. It's the beast, the oldest.
What do you do with that?
So
I mean, is that a live and learn lesson, or is there some punishment as a dad? I mean,
the punishment is now
no car.
You ride with mama.
That's a good punishment for 16.
But in fairness to him, it seemed like this was an actual problem with that model, and he should have. We had all said, "Hey, probably need to change the oil," and he had said, "Yeah, we need to do that," and
nobody did it.
Didn't do it, and so I don't think that would have saved it. I mean, it had already burned, and then when we put the oil in, it worked for a minute, but then had problems. So the answer is he's thinking about it while he's not mobile, and we'll figure it out. But once you get used to your teenager driving and helping out with the driving, and then they're immobile, you're like, ugh, I can't remember when you didn't drive.
I mean, if it's a Volvo, call Aaron Stoultz of Eurofix. I mean, Aaron, I'm about to talk about Eurofix in just a second.
I'll have to do that.
5 locations. I don't know which one would be closest to you. Maybe Murfreesboro.
Yeah, probably
closest to you. He's got one in Franklin too. But I think he would give you some quality advice about whether or if it was worth trying to find a replacement engine or not.
Yeah.
My man, Aaron Stoultz at Eurofix.
I'd love to know because
Volvo, Eurofix, come on.
We blowed it up.
Yeah, we need to find out. I'll tell you what, I'll tell you, Cameron, more about Eurofix in just a moment, and we'll get to Troy's call as well. Hang in there, Troy. We want to talk about Obama with you. It's 50 after the hour on Super Talk. Hello, friends. I want to talk to you for a moment about my friend Aaron Stoultz and Eurofix. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have kids in the house that don't know how to change their oil? Do you perhaps have a European automobile that has some years on it and they've not changed the oil and now the engine has blown up? I encourage you to call Aaron Stoultz at Eurofix and allow him to answer some questions that you might have about your European automobile that has a few years on it and has a blown-up engine. They turn unreliable advice into reliable advice. Eurofix can repair all European cars, but Aaron Stoultz is going to tell you if it's worth repairing that car. He's going to tell you what the engine's going to cost, what the repairs are going to cost, and whether or not it is valuable to you to repair that car, because he is truthful first and foremost. Plus, if you decide to repair it, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car while the repairs are being conducted. Make sure you call ahead on these loaner cars because they are very popular. Family owned for 26 years and in many different communities around our fair city, like Franklin, 100 Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and Mount Juliet. Aaron Stoultz and Eurofix. I'm not talking to anybody in particular, but I think you should call 844-EUROFIX or visit myeurofix.com. I blew a motor in the dark not knowing my radiator hose had busted, writes in 7059. Had to walk 2 exits to find a phone. Man, I did that one night, too. I had a leak in my water pump, and I knew that I had a leaky water pump. And I had to stop by. I was a manager of Waffle House at the time. This was in Athens. And I had to stop by my shop, and it was a quick in and out. Right? It was a stop by, deliver a couple of things that they needed, go into the back room, get some stuff out of the back room, give them some things they needed, and out. Well, I stayed there. Then one thing happened, another thing happened. My cook quit. My grill operator quit. And before I know it, I'm in there an hour, and I forgot that my car was running, and it just destroyed my engine. It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, everybody's got stories, but you learn.
Well, you do. You learn.
It's a rough way to learn, but we'll learn.
Well, Cam's got to walk. Walk it, kid.
Yeah.
It's a long walk from Nolensville to wherever you're going.
Yeah. Well, you get stuck behind a tractor sometimes.
Yeah, no. Man, I don't understand how y'all deal with it. Do you agree with this? Do you agree with Mike Johnson pulling up stakes and calling it a recess?
No, don't be a baby.
I mean, that's kind of what it felt like. I mean, allow the Democrat. I mean, do you feel like they're
what made me so frustrated was the fact that he did this and said, well, the Democrats, blah, 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 like said all this like word salad. Well, the reason he's leaving early is because of Republicans. Right. There were a lot of Republicans who were like, yeah, we're going to vote for transparency. We're going to do that.
The Democrats can't do anything on their own in the House of Representatives.
Right. And he knew it would not be a close vote. It would be overwhelming with the folks who say, yeah, we campaigned on this. We should do this. And I suspect that won't change on the other side of the recess. Also, it's weird to have jobs with recess.
Agreed. Especially more than a month.
Right.
Of recess. I promise we get to Troy, and Troy we will get to. Hey, Troy.
Hello, Matt.
Hey, Troy.
I tell you, talking about Speaker Johnson, I think he's not getting ahead of the DOJ on releasing information on Epstein. I think that was the play there. I kind of watched things in the background, and I was watching this Obama investigation when Devin Nunes and Kash Patel was investigating it. And, 4 or 5 days ago, I was a conspiracy theorist, and now we have facts. And it seems like that a lot of the conspiracy theories over the next few weeks are about to be turned into we have facts. And I think Mr. Speaker Johnson may just not be getting ahead of our Justice Department in releasing this information. And if the House voted on that, that information might get released a little fast because they're showing the people what happened. They've tried to tell the people this was happening all along, and now they're showing them. And,
on the Epstein front.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on the Epstein and Obama.
Yeah.
It's both fronts. And while I'm talking to you, we need to bring attention to Tina Peters out in Colorado. She actually was put in jail for following federal law, but it violated state law in the election of 2016.
Hey, Troy, will you do me a favor, and because we're out of time, I got to get to Mark Levin. Hit me up, Matt@murphyshow.com or on social media, or call me tomorrow with the Tina Peters story because I don't want to rush you on it. It sounds like an interesting story. I just don't have time for it tonight. Can you call me back or hit me up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do that, and we will we'll get to that story later on. It is time for Mark Levin. Thank you to Cameron Smith.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you to Andy Ogles. Thank you to Jody Barrett. Thank you to Jackson Williams. Thank you to Ken Weaver. And thank you, most importantly, to all of you. Thursday edition coming up. Hug you, loved one. So long.